Chapter 31. Yan Fang's response was unexpected even to Dongfang Chen, who looked at her in surprise. "What do you want from me?" Dongfang Chen asked. "Can you not make me leave the guard team?" Yan Fang pleaded. "As expected, you have to be tough. The game between a man and a woman is like tug of war. If you're tough, she's gentle, if you're gentle, she's tough." Dongfang Chen wasn't being pretentious either, and said, "You're thinking pretty highly of yourself. Let me tell you, it's lucky that the person who got hurt this time was someone you brought. Otherwise, do you think I could have let you off so easily this time? Besides, your subordinates are also people, and now they're also part of my base. Do you think I wouldn't punish you? I'm not saying this to you, but after causing such a big mess, instead of quickly reflecting on the problems within yourself, you're still thinking about being reinstated? What are you thinking? You." Yan Fang was just about to get angry. "What about me?" Dongfang Chen immediately retorted. "You can't indulge this kind of young lady." Dongfang Chen, "Oh no, boss. How about this? As long as you agree to let me go out and kill zombies, I'll agree to anything you want, okay?" Seeing that being soft didn't work, Yan Fang started to act coquettishly. "Strange." Dongfang Chen didn't take her up on her offer, but instead said with feigned puzzlement. "What's strange? What's strange about me?" Yan Fang was looked at inexplicably. She quickly lowered her head and looked at herself. "I was thinking, your subordinate is seriously injured with a fracture, and I don't see a bit of sadness on your face. Instead, you ran over here to act coquettishly with me. Don't you think that's strange? Besides, I'm not interested in old women. Please stay away from me, you're giving me the creeps," Dongfang Chen replied. "Dongfang Chen. I'm going to kill you." Yan Fang couldn't bear it any longer. She had made concessions again and again, only to be ridiculed time and time again. At this moment, she gritted her teeth. Women of this age group are not to be trifled with, especially when you expose their shortcomings to their face and call them old women. This is simply pulling hair from a tiger's mouth, tired of living. Dongfang Chen also knew that what he said was a bit too much. So, before Yan Fang completely erupted, he quickly opened the door and hid in the office. "Dongfang Chen! Open the door! Dongfang Chen! I'm going to kill you! Open the door now!" Yan Fang shouted loudly while slamming on the door outside. The soundproofing in the room was average. The sound of knocking on the door sounded deeper from the inside, and the shouting was already very soft. There were also several guards in the corridor watching from a distance. They didn't know what was going on, and they didn't dare to interfere. Dongfang Chen was having a headache when Xiaolin spoke. "Commander, the system has issued an emergency countdown mission, would you like to view it?" "Countdown mission?" Dongfang Chen's attention quickly focused. "View it." Dongfang Chen replied. "Emergency mission notice, limited time. Situation summary. Abnormal atmospheric composition detected. Sample data shows that the CH4-3 component in the air is seriously excessive. According to the simulation data from the supercomputing center, as the CH4-3 content increases, a layer of molecular optical film will gradually form outside the ozone layer. Once the optical film is formed, it will seriously affect the penetration efficiency of infrared light. Mission content. Before the molecular optical film is completely formed, help as many human settlements as possible to establish underground survival bases. Mission duration. 3 years. Mission start time. Start immediately. Special reminder. Mission failure will lead to human extinction. At the end of the notice, the 4 bright red characters human extinction were particularly conspicuous. Subsequently, a constantly flashing countdown appeared on the big screen, 1094, 23, 59, 59. "Xiaolin, what exactly is that molecular formula?" Dongfang Chen swallowed and asked in shock. CH4-3 molecular cluster is composed of 3 methane molecules. It is not stable under natural conditions and will decompose into methane gas. However, the supercomputing center simulation data shows that CH4-3 in the high altitude is affected by solar radiation and will exhibit extremely strong adsorption. This will cause the surrounding methane molecules to be continuously polymerized, eventually forming a hollow nano-air sac in the shape of a regular dodecahedron, which is, ch4, 12. And then? Dongfang Chen listened in a daze. Although he was also a university graduate, his major was different after all. The little chemistry knowledge he learned in high school had long been returned to the teacher. Nano air sac. Hey. Okay. Xiaolin, explain it a little simpler, a little easier to understand. I don't understand, Dongfang Chen interrupted Xiaolin as soon as she opened her mouth. What nano, what molecules, listening to it makes my head spin. Okay. The most critical issue here is that the regular dodecahedron will form a stable hollow structure similar to a soccer ball. During this process, ozone molecules and oxygen molecules, which act as bridges, will be wrapped inside. Xiaolin explained as much as possible through vivid metaphors. And then? I don't see any connection between this and human extinction. Dongfang Chen still seemed to understand. The 2 ozone molecules and 1 oxygen molecule wrapped in the middle will gradually be ionized into 8 oxygen atoms under the action of solar radiation. And at night, after the solar radiation disappears, the 8 oxygen atoms will recombine into an oxygen molecule, O8. This oxygen molecule composed of 8 oxygen atoms is also called red oxygen. Red oxygen? Dongfang Chen asked suspiciously. Yes, red oxygen. Red oxygen has 2 characteristics, infrared absorption and magnetic field annihilation. This is also the reason why, ch4, 3 forms a molecular optical film outside the ozone layer. Infrared absorption. Magnetic field annihilation. Dongfang Chen's hair stood on end. He was dizzy listening to everything before. Only the last 8 words were like a thunderbolt, directly hitting his forehead. What infrared rays and magnetic fields, anyone with a little knowledge reserve is no stranger to them. People's lives in all aspects, and even the entire blue star ecosystem, cannot be separated from these 2 things. Without infrared rays, photosynthesis cannot be carried out. Wouldn't all the plants and animals have to kick the bucket? Without a magnetic field, oh my god, wouldn't that be a mass extinction? Good gracious! This is simply inhumane. Annihilation of humanity. This is too scary to even think about. It's not that serious. The molecular optical film can absorb and reflect at most 30% of infrared rays. Plant photosynthesis will be affected, but it is not fatal. The most serious problem is the series of changes in ecology, climate, and temperature brought about by this. The chain reaction caused by this will make human survival extremely challenging, Xiaolin said. Then why is this happening? What caused it? Dongfang Chen calmed down and asked again. According to monitoring data, the cause is a type of microorganism living in the soil and sea. These microorganisms mainly grow and reproduce by decomposing the corpses of dead animals and plants. They have mutated due to the influence of viral RNA. This causes them to release ch4, 3 during the process of decomposing food, Xiaolin explained. Truly, success is due to xiaohe, and failure is also due to xiaohe. Dongfang Chen understood and sighed. Microorganisms have played an immeasurable role in the evolution of life on Blue Star. It is not an exaggeration to call them the creators of life on Blue Star. In the first billions of years, they continuously consumed carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and produced oxygen. This is what made Blue Star turn blue, and what allowed all living things to multiply and thrive. And now, it is microorganisms again, who will personally destroy everything they created. Dongfang Chen felt very tired at this time. Before, he thought it was difficult to live, but it was just because he didn't have money. But now, wanting to live is really difficult. Wanting to survive, you have to wrestle with the entire blue star ecosystem. Is this something that humans can do? Leaning on the sofa, he didn't want to move at all. Why me? I'm not a savior. Why should I bear such a responsibility? Chapter 32. Dongfang Chen was incredibly annoyed inside. Yan Feng was still making a scene outside. However, it was clear that the knocking and shouting weren't as intense as they were at the beginning, probably because she was tired. After a long silence, although Dongfang Chen was extremely unwilling, he still sat up and said to Xiaolin. Xiaolin, turn the entire process you just described into a demonstration animation. Understood, Commander, Xiaolin replied. For artificial intelligence, this was a matter of minutes. Afterward, Dongfang Chen had Xiaolin open the door. Yan Feng, seeing the door open, stormed in angrily. But once she was inside, her courage failed her. She had been shouting about killing him outside, but when she actually saw him, she didn't dare to make a sound. She just stood there stupidly, wanting to say something but not knowing how to start. What's wrong? Weren't you going to kill me? Why aren't you doing anything? Dongfang Chen mocked. Boss, I was wrong. Yan Fang lowered her head and mumbled. What was that? Dongfang Chen pretended not to hear and asked loudly. Boss. I was wrong. Once bitten, twice shy. This time, Yan Fang shouted very loudly. Then tell me, what did you do wrong? Dongfang Chen asked pretentiously. I shouldn't have acted without authorization, Yan Fang replied. What else? Dongfang Chen continued to ask. I shouldn't have lost my temper at you, Yan Fang replied. What else? Dongfang Chen continued to press, not letting her off the hook. What else? That's it, isn't it? Yan Fang thought for a long time but couldn't think of anything else. Think again. Really, that's it? Yan Fang spread her hands. Your attitude towards admitting your mistakes isn't sincere. Dongfang Chen leaned back on the sofa and shook his head. Then you tell me. If what you say is right, I'll change. Yan Fang completely let go. Now that she had lowered her head, she couldn't give up halfway. I can come up with so many. Look, you're naive, arrogant, have a bad temper, are self-righteous, don't respect the old and love the young, don't follow the rules, can't see the situation clearly, form cliques, attempt to leak team secrets, betray teammates. Dongfang Chen counted them off on his fingers one by one. What do you mean by not respecting the old and loving the young, forming cliques, leaking secrets, and betraying teammates? Don't make false accusations. I didn't do any of that. Yan Fang denied. Okay, you don't admit it, then I'll explain them to you one by one. Dongfang Chen cleared his throat, held out his finger, and began his performance. First, not respecting the old and loving the young. Let me ask you, am I younger than you? And by at least 7 years, right? You're always yelling at me. Do you call that respecting the old and loving the young? You. Okay, Yan Fang held it in for a long time, but couldn't say anything. Second, let's talk about forming cliques. Don't you guys always hang out together? Don't you often whisper privately? Even using sign language? What's that about? Are you afraid people will hear something they shouldn't? Are you spying on me? Yan Fang asked, pointing at him in surprise. What do you mean spying? That sounds so unpleasant. I'm the supreme commander of the base, and I have a duty to ensure the absolute safety of the base. Besides, there's nothing in this base that I don't know about, Dongfang Chen said pretentiously. She couldn't refute this point now that it had been pointed out to her face. Seeing that Yan Fang didn't say anything, Dongfang Chen continued his triumphant performance. Third, attempting to leak secrets. Wow, that's very serious. You could get shot for that. Aren't you always secretly taking out your phone, snapping pictures? Don't tell me you're going to post them on social media. Besides, even posting them on social media isn't allowed. Okay, since she was being monitored, it was normal for him to know these things. No wonder the photos she had clearly taken couldn't be found in her album. Especially some important photos, which mysteriously disappeared. It turned out that this guy was behind it all. I won't even mention betraying teammates. You don't even care about the safety of your own subordinates, so what does betraying other guard team members matter? Dongfang Chen shrugged, pretending to be indifferent. Fine. I accept everything you said. Is that okay? Can I return to the team now? Yan Fang was no longer afraid of anything. No matter what you say, I just want to return to the team. Just admitting it isn't enough. You have to apologize to all the guard team members, Dongfang Chen said. Yan Fang gritted her teeth, stomped her foot, and said. Fine. I'll apologize. I'll apologize in front of all the team members. Anything else? There's one more thing. I'll tell you after you apologize, Dongfang Chen replied with a sly smile. It wasn't easy to make a proud swan lower its head and admit its mistakes. To be honest, it was quite fulfilling. Soon, except for the 3 injured, all the guard team members had gathered in Dongfang Chen's office. In front of all the guard team members, Yan Fang lowered her head and spoke in a voice as soft as a mosquito's hum, roughly repeating the mistakes she had just mentioned. Throughout the entire process, she stammered and mumbled. The team members standing opposite her couldn't help but lower their heads and laugh secretly. Because they didn't dare to move too much, everyone tried their best to hold it in. Several people even sneezed out mucus as a result. They were all men in their 30s. This image, tisk tisk, was not flattering. Dongfang Chen didn't ask for more. It was enough. Pushing too hard would easily make the swan fly away. 10 minutes later, Yan Fang finished speaking and bowed to everyone. The scene erupted in thunderous applause. This applause was not praising how well she spoke, but praising her growth and her progress. Comrades, we must take this as a warning and not make the same mistakes as Yan Fang. From now on, anyone who disobeys orders or refuses to follow arrangements, I will show no mercy and directly expel them from the guard team. Did everyone hear that? After Yan Fang finished speaking, Dongfang Chen stood up and said, "Yes, boss." Everyone answered in unison. "All right." Yan Fang, return to the team, Dongfang Chen ordered. "Yes, boss." Yan Fang replied loudly. She had finally passed the test. Yan Fang finally breathed a sigh of relief. "Comrades, there's another matter I called you to the office for. Next, please watch a video." Dongfang Chen had Xiaolin play the video. Everyone looked at the screen lighting up with confusion, and magnified versions of microorganisms swam across the screen. The video had voiceovers, background music, and subtitles, making it vivid and engaging. Videos are simple and intuitive to watch. Dongfang Chen couldn't help but praise his own cleverness. At the beginning of the video, the wandering microorganisms climbed onto the dead mutated zombies and began to devour them. The virus was ingested into the microorganisms, and the genes mutated. Then, the mutated microorganisms multiplied in large numbers and began to spread across the oceans and land. One by one, CH4, 3 molecules, drawn as spheres, were continuously released from the microorganisms and gradually rose into the air. Next, the screen entered space, and a close-up of a CH4, 3 molecule began to absorb the surrounding CH4 after being exposed to radiation. Like building blocks, one CH4 after another gradually connected with CH4, 3 under the transport of O3 and O2, and finally formed a spherical regular dodecahedron. And O3 and O2 were finally trapped inside. The camera zoomed in further, and the O3 and O2 inside the sphere trembled under the irradiation of radiation. As the temperature rose, they gradually became ionized, and 8 oxygen atoms scurried around inside the sphere. As the light on the screen dimmed, the sun set. The 8 oxygen atoms began to calm down, and finally arranged themselves into a blood-red cubic structure. The camera gradually zoomed out, and more circular spheres gathered around, each sphere containing a blood-red cube. The camera zoomed further and further away, and a special atmospheric membrane formed from the small spheres began to form. From a distance, the membrane showed an eerie faint red light. Schematic light rays, drawn as straight lines, shone on the membrane, part of which was reflected back, and part of which shone through the membrane. The perspective moved down along the transmitted light, passed through the atmosphere, and projected onto the ground. The ground was as dim as on a cloudy day. The leaves of plants gradually turned yellow and withered because they could not absorb enough light. The background music began to become intense and rapid, and the screen flashed quickly across the ground, with more and more plants withering and dying, the scene like the end of the world. The entire Earth's ecosystem is an interdependent whole. A change in one link is like the collapse of dominoes, which will affect the entire ecosystem. Following the rhythm of the drums, the screen flashed continuously. Animals died, birds died, fish died, cities decayed, crops failed, and humans died. Zombies, like ghosts, crawled out of the ground and slowly gathered. Underground and in the sky were filled with various types of zombie animals and birds. They swept across the globe, devouring everything they saw. The entire blue star seemed to fall into a dim and bloody hell. The video ended with the music. Chapter 33. The video finished playing, but the viewers remained lost in thought for a long time. "Boss, is everything in the video true?" Ruan Xinghua asked. "Yes. Reports show that this molecule has already been detected in the current atmospheric composition. Although the damage it can cause is still minimal, we need to consider that the evolutionary speed of microorganisms is thousands or even tens of thousands of times faster than that of humans, and this impact will increase exponentially," Dongfang Chen replied. "Is there any way to prevent this from happening?" Brother Zhang asked. The death of zombies, the decomposition of microorganisms, the evolution of microorganisms, which of these can we control? Dongfang Chen retorted. Brother Zhang fell silent. Indeed, this cannot be prevented. It seems that the virus is not the end of the world, but only the beginning. Everyone was silent. They knew that the end of humanity was coming, but they were helpless. How much time do we have left? Yan Fangfang asked. 3 years, Dongfang Chen replied. 3 years. Yan Fangfang was somewhat dejected. She had initially risked coming to Binjiang to be closer to the virus. She hoped to find a way to resist the virus through this method. Who knew that after arriving here, she could only hide? There was no way to directly resist the zombies, let alone deal with the virus. Later, she came to the base. The technology here was very advanced, giving her instant hope. She gained the ability to resist zombies and also the ability to resist viruses. At that moment, she understood that as long as there was enough time, eliminating zombies and viruses was not a problem at all. Because of this, she endured Dongfang Chen's unreasonable behavior and humiliation time and time again. She lowered her proud head for this and threw away the self-esteem she had always maintained. But before she could react, another heavy piece of information weighed on her heart. This news was so despairing, so cruelly extinguishing her hope for the future. This was a dead end, and no one could change it. You said earlier that there was one more thing you wanted me to apologize for before you would tell me. Is this it? Yan Fangfang asked dejectedly. That's right. Dongfang Chen admitted frankly. You clearly know that everyone will die, yet you still want me to apologize? Are you doing this to deliberately humiliate me? Yan Fangfang's eyes welled up. She asked with her head held high, tears swirling in her eyes. Who said everyone will die? Did I say that? Dongfang Chen blinked and asked, feigning ignorance. Brother Dongfang, you just said that we can't stop the end of the world. Luo'er couldn't bear it any longer and stood up to speak for Yan Fangfang. We can't stop the end of the world, but we can find ways to survive it, Dongfang Chen said to Luo'er with a smile. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. It seemed the boss had a solution. Yan Fangfang was still crying, but hearing these words, she burst into laughter through her tears. She hurriedly raised her hand and wiped away the tears with her sleeve. I knew it, brother Dongfang, you have a way, don't you? Luo'er walked up to Dongfang Chen and said excitedly. There is a way, but it's almost the same as having no way. Dongfang Chen suddenly made a sharp turn. Boss, stop beating around the bush. Tell us quickly, we're all dying of anxiety, Ling Zhenhai walked over and said anxiously. Actually, every settlement can build a base like ours, wouldn't that allow them to survive temporarily? Dongfang Chen said. This sounded like a solution, but it also felt impractical, indeed almost the same as having no solution. First, such a base cannot be built just by saying so. If it were in the past, it would simply involve investing more funds, personnel, and equipment. But now, the conditions do not allow it. Second, underground survival is actually a technical skill. Everyone has been underground for so long and has gained some knowledge. Where do the various supplies in the base come from? Where do the various weapons and equipment come from? Without these prerequisites, they would starve to death underground in 2 days. Third, with more people, thoughts become more complicated. Who will take the lead? Who will provide the resources? If you don't contribute money or resources, why should people listen to you? If you contribute money and resources, you might not get things done and become the target of everyone's criticism. Everyone is starving to death. If you're the only one with food, who else would they rob but you? This matter, with them, cannot be accomplished. All right, it's getting late, everyone, go back and think about it. When you have time, you can also communicate privately, and we'll discuss it again tomorrow, Dongfang Chen said. The crowd dispersed. Xiaolin. Commander, please give your instructions, Xiaolin replied. You know the task, help me develop a feasible plan, Dongfang Chen said. Yes, Commander. Ding ling ling. Dongfang Chen was still in his sleep when his phone rang. Dongfang Chen didn't even open his eyes, frowned, and reached for his phone. Originally, he wanted to hang up and continue sleeping. No. Dongfang Chen instantly opened his eyes and quickly grabbed his phone. This phone hadn't rung in a long time, someone was contacting him. Dongfang Chen picked up the phone and looked, it was an unfamiliar number. Hello. He answered the phone. Mr. Dongfang, I've finally gotten in touch with you. It was Niu Xingwang who was calling. Boss Niu? Dongfang Chen asked confirmingly. It's me, Mr. Dongfang, Niu Xingwang said excitedly. Where are you now? Dongfang Chen asked. I'm at the Qinghe settlement, Niu Xingwang replied. Oh, that's good. It's relatively safer there, Dongfang Chen replied. Mr. Dongfang, it's not safe here. We were attacked by zombies last night, and many people died, Niu Xingwang said in a low voice. Are you all right? Dongfang Chen asked. I'm fine, but I'm about to be unable to hold on, Niu Xingwang said. Oh? What's wrong? It's a long story. Mr. Dongfang, this phone cost me a lot of money, and I can only use it for 1 minute. I'm calling you to ask you to do me a favor. Niu Xingwang said. Okay. Tell me. Dongfang Chen agreed. I estimate I won't be able to go back. Please take care of my wife as much as possible in the future, Niu Xingwang said sadly. Boss Niu, it's not that bad. Tell me the specific situation in detail, Dongfang Chen replied. Mr. Dongfang, some things are inconvenient to say. Okay. Time's up. Beep beep beep. Before Boss Niu could finish speaking, he heard someone snatch the phone and hang up. Xiaolin. Dongfang Chen got out of bed and quickly ran to the office. Commander, please give your instructions, Xiaolin replied. Locate the phone number we just talked to, Dongfang Chen said. The location has been locked, it's at Qinghe Ridge in Serong County, Xiaolin replied. Xiaolin had located it the moment Dongfang Chen started talking. Dongfang Chen quickly notified everyone to prepare equipment. Boss, where are we going? Brother Zhang asked. To Qinghe Ridge. Niu Xingwang is probably in trouble, Dongfang Chen replied. Hearing this, Brother Zhang didn't hesitate and quickly issued an order. Everyone, the target is Qinghe Ridge, let's go. He turned back and said to Dongfang Chen in a low voice. Xiao Chen, don't go. It's dangerous outside. We'll go. Let's go together. I also want to see what the settlements are like now, Dongfang Chen said while preparing his equipment. Brother Zhang didn't say anything more, and everyone left the base. After 5 months, the cars outside were basically scrapped. And with the roads congested, it wasn't realistic to drive the Hummer from the base out of the city. Now, they could only bite the bullet and find one. Everyone found several new cars in a Ford store on the outskirts of the city, but after working on them for a long time, they couldn't start them. Come on, let me do it, Dongfang Chen said. He took out a metal tag from his pocket, threw it into the car, and closed the door. A minute later, rumble rumble rumble, the car started. Dongfang Chen took out the metal tag and repeated the process, quickly fixing several cars. Everyone was surprised, but there was no time to ask. Everyone quickly assigned vehicles, got in, broke through the glass of the Ford store, and drove west. Although the roads outside the city were covered with thick leaves, there were few abandoned vehicles on the road, which did not affect the journey. In about an hour, everyone arrived at Qinghe Ridge. Chapter 34. Quick, look! Someone's coming! Said the soldier guarding the entrance. Wow, really? It's been a long time since anyone's come here, right? Could they be bringing supplies? Another soldier said in surprise. Let's go take a look, the first soldier replied. The two walked to the middle of the road and stood still, holding out their hands in a gesture to stop. 12 identical SUVs followed one another, gradually coming to a halt. Hello. Please show your identification, the first soldier said. What identification? Dongfang Chen, sitting in the passenger seat of the first car, asked. The two soldiers were stunned, unsure what identification was needed. Where did these people come from? Where did you come from? The first soldier asked. Binjiang City, Dongfang Chen replied. The two quickly grabbed their guns and released the safety catches. Everyone, raise your hands and get out of the car immediately. The first soldier commanded. Brother Zhang, in the driver's seat, glanced at Dongfang Chen, awaiting his instructions. Dongfang Chen shook his head, raising one hand. He reached over with the other and opened the car door. After Dongfang Chen got out of the car, the others followed suit. More than 40 people, all wearing matching camouflage uniforms. Everyone had a ruddy complexion and was full of energy. This was highly suspicious. Report to the captain, dozens of suspicious people have appeared at the entrance, requesting backup, the second soldier said into the walkie-talkie. Roger. Came the reply. Comrade, what's wrong? Is there a problem? Dongfang Chen asked casually. Of course there's a problem. There hasn't been anyone in Binjiang city for months. How could you possibly be coming from the city? The first soldier replied. That's not necessarily true. Look, I know Director Xue Miaoshuang, the doctor at your base. If you call him out, he can verify our identities, Dongfang Chen said. Our captain will be here shortly. Please wait a moment, the first soldier said, ignoring his words. 2 minutes later, dozens of people quickly came from the base, all carrying guns. Captain, it's them, the second soldier went up to him and said. The captain nodded and walked over. Where did you come from? The captain asked. We already said, we came from the city, Dongfang Chen patiently repeated. What are you doing here? The captain continued to ask. Looking for someone, Dongfang Chen replied. Oh? Looking for who? The captain asked, intrigued. Niu Xingwang, the boss of Dingzhen Real Estate, Dongfang Chen replied. He knew Niu Xingwang. In fact, most of the infrastructure projects in the Qinghe resettlement area were done by Niu Xingwang's company. However, the current Niu Xingwang was not what he used to be, just a small fry. What are you looking for him for? The captain asked mockingly. To collect a debt. Dongfang Chen began to spout nonsense. Old habits die hard. Oh? Here to collect a debt? The captain laughed. In this day and age, someone is still collecting debts? They have nowhere to spend their money, why would they collect debts? What kind of debt are you here to collect? The captain continued to ask. I say, Captain, is collecting debts against the law? Dongfang Chen didn't want to answer his question so easily. He could also see that he was deliberately making things difficult for him. The captain was stunned, then laughed, and said. It's not against the law. But for safety reasons, I can't let you in. Okay. We won't go in. Then please have the captain send someone to call him out, we'll chat outside, Dongfang Chen said with a smile. That won't work either. The captain said. Why is that? Dongfang Chen asked with a teasing smile. There's no why. My brother's mission is to maintain law and order, not to run errands for people, the captain said, picking his teeth. How about this then? Dongfang Chen took out a bag of white sugar from his pocket, weighing it in his hand. The captain's eyes immediately lit up. White sugar is a scarce commodity now. Such a big bag could even get you a wife. The captain walked over, took the white sugar, put it in his pocket, and immediately changed his attitude. Little brother, let me be honest with you. The current boss Niu is not the boss Niu he used to be. I'm afraid you won't be able to collect the debt from him, the captain said in a low voice. Thank you for the reminder, Captain. However, I have my own ways, Dongfang Chen showed a cunning expression. Okay, I'll have someone call him out for you, the captain didn't say much more and readily agreed. Xiaohu, come here, the captain beckoned and called the first soldier over. Captain, you called me, Xiaohu ran over and said with a smile. Go in and bring boss Niu out, the captain ordered. Yes. Xiaohu replied, standing at attention, and turned to run back. 20 minutes later. Xiaohu led boss Niu out. From a distance, boss Niu looked disheveled and like a beggar. If it weren't for the suit on his body still vaguely showing his former glory, Dongfang Chen would have had a hard time recognizing him. Boss Niu walked closer and saw that the person standing next to the captain was actually Dongfang Chen, and his steps immediately stopped. The captain saw Niu Xingwang standing there without moving, thinking that he was frightened by seeing his creditor, so he shouted loudly. Boss Niu, your old friend has come to see you, come over quickly. Niu Xingwang came back to his senses and ran over in small steps, his eyes filled with tears. Mr. Dongfang. Niu Xingwang was just about to speak when Dongfang Chen interrupted him. Boss Niu, why are you dressed like this? Let me tell you, don't cry poor in front of me. It is a matter of course to pay back debts. Dongfang Chen said loudly. Boss Niu was dumbfounded. What's going on? The captain couldn't help laughing when he heard Dongfang Chen say this. Boss Niu looks like he is crying poor. I'll just ask you, can you pay back the money today? Dongfang Chen asked. I. Niu Xingwang didn't know what to say. Alright. I won't listen to your explanation either. It's useless to ask for money now, just leave your life here today. Dongfang Chen said as he stepped forward and grabbed Niu Xingwang by the collar, preparing to take him to the car. Hey. Little brother, take it easy. This won't work, someone will die, the captain quickly stopped him. Hee, captain. What kind of world is it now? What does it matter if 1 or 2 people die? But, captain, don't worry, I definitely won't cause you any trouble. I'll take the person away and find a place to deal with him later, Dongfang Chen replied with a smile. The captain was stunned. This. Should I agree? Dongfang Chen's words confused the captain. They had already received news that the resettlement area was about to move north. They won't be staying in this place for many days. In this situation, it shouldn't matter if a few people are lost, right? But something doesn't feel right? While the captain was stunned, Dongfang Chen and the others had all gotten into the car. Rolling down the car window, Dongfang Chen shouted. Captain, there's one more thing I want to tell you. The captain walked to the car. What's the matter? Dongfang Chen took out another large bag of candy from the car, secretly stuffed it into the captain's hands, and said with a smile. It's nothing, just a little something for the brothers. The captain beamed with joy. This little brother is so generous. The convoy turned around and drove away. The captain put away the candy and stood there watching Dongfang Chen and his group leave. Captain, they've gone far, Xiao Hu ran over and said softly. The captain turned around and glanced at him, saying in an annoyed tone. You talk too much. Hee, captain. I have a question, Xiao Hu asked. Oh? Tell me. Captain, you said that there is no one in the city, how did they survive? Xiao Hu asked. Damn. We've been tricked. The captain suddenly realized and slapped his thigh. But the car has already gone far away. Chapter 35. The roads in the city center were impassable, so everyone returned to the suburbs and found a parking lot. After parking the cars, it was already afternoon when the group returned to the base on foot. Quick UI! Niu Xingwang shouted, choking with emotion. Niu Xingguang's wife was called Lu Quicken, and at this time she was in the kitchen with several other women, busily preparing food. Hearing this familiar voice, Lu Quicken's hand froze, and she hurriedly looked towards the source of the sound. What came into view was a dirty, ragged, disheveled middle-aged man. Half a minute later, Lu Quicken finally recognized that this was her husband, whom she had been thinking about day and night. She put down the spoon and slowly, step by step, walked up to Niu Xingwang. Seeing his current appearance, she couldn't help but burst into tears. Quicken! I'm back! Niu Xingwang said excitedly, with tears in his eyes. Wah! Lu Quicken finally confirmed that this was real. Unable to control herself, she began to sob. Niu Xingwang hurriedly stepped forward, patted his wife on the back, and comforted her. All right, I'm back now, what are you crying for? Dongfang Chen and brother Zhang, who were standing aside watching, joked. Ha ha ha! Big sister, the brothers haven't eaten anything all day. If you keep crying, we'll starve to death. The big sister smiled through her tears, and didn't say anything. She glanced sideways at old Niu, and quickly turned her head to cook. Brother Niu, don't just stand here. Hurry up and take a shower, change your clothes. You stink so bad, I was almost suffocated by you all the way. Dongfang Chen said with a smile. Niu Xingwang nodded, wiped away his tears with his sleeve, and hurriedly walked out of the kitchen. The food was quickly prepared, and Boss Niu had also taken a shower and changed his clothes. To welcome Boss Niu home, today's meal was very sumptuous, with a large pot of stewed cabbage with pork and vermicelli, a plate of sauced beef, a plate of sausage, a plate of peanuts, bowls of glistening rice, and even a few bottles of 30-year-old Fen liquor were opened as an exception. Everyone sat down at several tables, but no one touched their chopsticks. Niu Xingwang looked at the table full of dishes, feeling very emotional. This kind of food, half a year ago, he wouldn't have even looked at it. It just wasn't worthy of a formal occasion. But now it was different. For the past 6 months since the virus outbreak, he had basically stayed on the construction site. Later, Binjiang City was under martial law, and he was transferred to various counties to build temporary resettlement centers. Supplies slowly became more and more scarce, and the workers had no idea where their next meal was coming from, and they had no heart to work. No one wanted wages anymore, they all wanted food. Where would Niu Xingwang get food for them? He used the machinery, equipment and vehicles in his hands, to exchange for supplies. Later, the construction site also stopped work, and the resources in Niu Xingguang's hands were basically plundered by people from various departments. In the end, he couldn't even get a full meal. Perhaps everyone has a natural hatred for capitalists. After he was left with no way out, everyone couldn't wait to step on him and bite him. Niu Xingguang's situation was even more dire. Today, he dug out 2 car batteries that had been hidden for a long time from the waste materials of the construction site, and barely managed to exchange them for 1 minute of phone time from a middleman. This kind of phone was a satellite phone. The base stations were all scrapped, and ordinary mobile phones had no signal long ago. He originally only planned to call Dongfang Chen to entrust him with his affairs, and he didn't have any hope of leaving Qinghe Resettlement Center. He didn't think that Dongfang Chen had the ability to bring him out of Qinghe Ridge. As long as Dongfang Chen could remember a little bit of their past relationship and treat his wife kindly, he would already be grateful. What kind of world is this now? A world where people eat people. Sentimentality is worthless long ago. But he didn't expect that Dongfang Chen would actually come to save him. Only when people are truly in despair do they know who is real and who is fake. Brother Niu, our conditions are limited now, we don't have anything good. Just make do with it. Dongfang Chen said with a smile, sitting next to him. Niu Xingwang wiped his tears and said gratefully. Mr. Dongfang, what are you saying? In this world now, even if I sell all my possessions, I can't exchange for this table of dishes. Hey! Look at what you're saying, this is only worth a few bucks. Alright, let's not be so polite. Brothers, raise your glasses, let's welcome Boss Niu home. Dongfang Chen stood up and raised his glass. The crowd swish, swish, swish stood up one after another, raised their glasses towards Niu Xingwang, and shouted in unison. Welcome Boss Niu home. Niu Xingwang also stood up, raised his glass, and repeatedly said thank you. Big sister, today is a good day, you should have a glass too. Dongfang Chen said to Lu Quicken on the other side of Niu Xingwang. Lu Quicken wiped away her tears, nodded, and also raised the glass in her hand. Come on, bottoms up. Dongfang Chen said loudly to everyone. Everyone drank it all in one gulp and sat down. This meal lasted until the evening. For several months, the members of the guard team had been prohibited from drinking, so they all drank a little too much today. After the meal, everyone was allowed to go back to rest. Boss Niu and his wife had been separated for a long time, so they must have a lot to say, and Dongfang Chen didn't bother them anymore. The next day came in the blink of an eye. Dongfang Chen woke up early and came to the office. Xiaolin, is the plan ready? Dongfang Chen asked. Commander, it has been sent to your computer panel, please check it. Xiaolin replied. Dongfang Chen nodded and turned on the computer. 2 hours later. Xiaolin, is the plan so complicated? Dongfang Chen frowned. Commander, this is the method with the highest success rate. Xiaolin replied. All right. Dongfang Chen didn't say anything more. After thinking for a long time, Dongfang Chen continued. Xiaolin, break the plan down into a task progress chart and track it at any time. Okay, Commander. Dongfang Chen repeatedly thought about the plan, thinking about the difficult journey ahead. He sat for half an hour. Huff. After thinking for a long time, Dongfang Chen took a deep breath and walked out of the office. Underground base training area. Except for the wounded and some people who were told in advance not to come, everyone else had gathered. Comrades, the night before yesterday, everyone watched the video and understood how terrible the crisis we are about to face is. This is an unprecedented ecological crisis. In this crisis, no one is an observer, and no one is qualified to be an observer. I won't hide it from you, I already have a very complete and feasible plan. However, this plan requires everyone to complete it with me, Dongfang Chen said. Boss, just tell us. We will execute it unconditionally. Several veterans said firmly. Yes, Boss. We will listen to you. Zhang Yuankui said. Okay. I named this plan, Firefly Plan. It means that even if we only have the light of a firefly, we must compete with the sun and the moon. Dongfang Chen continued, and after saying this, he loudly ordered. Everyone, attention! Upon hearing the order, everyone stood at attention, their voices uniform. First task, from today onwards, the guard team is disbanded. As soon as they heard this sentence, everyone was stunned. What? Disband? Why? Everyone became uneasy, looking at each other. What? Didn't you just say that you would listen to me? Are you not listening now? Dongfang Chen deliberately paused here, just to instill this contrast in everyone's minds. It was implying to everyone, you may not understand, you may not understand. But you have to learn to resolutely execute orders even when you don't understand. Everyone stopped talking. After the guard team is disbanded, the original members of the guard team will be reorganized to form a new task sequence. From now on, you will have a brand new identity, lurkers. As lurkers, you will leave the base and go to all parts of the country. Even if you are willing, you can go to all parts of the world. Your main tasks are 3. First, you are free to join any organization. Remember what I said, any organization. Whether legal or illegal is fine. After joining, go into hiding. Second, you need to send talents to the base from time to time. Anyone you trust can be secretly sent to the base. Here, they will receive antigens for free and receive training for free. After passing the training, they will become new lurkers. Third, also your most important task, is to obtain intelligence. As an identity marker, each of you will receive a black metal tag before leaving. As he said that, Dongfang Chen took out a tag from his pocket and held it up high. The shape of the tag was very similar to the tag that Dongfang Chen threw into the car yesterday to start the car, but the color was different. Chapter 36. This tag is very important and can save your lives when necessary. I will give you a detailed introduction later. Dongfang Chen put away the tag. There is also some other equipment, but I won't introduce them one by one. We will have a special training session before departure. Now it's question time. Ask whatever questions you have. Boss, do I have to join too? Yan Fangfang asked. What? You don't want to? Dongfang Chen asked sternly. Ah. No. It's just my identity, Yan Fangfang didn't finish, implying that he should understand. It doesn't matter. After you leave, just continue doing what you were doing. Just complete the sleeper's mission diligently. Dongfang Chen said indifferently. Then my subordinates, Yan Fangfang continued to ask. Dongfang Chen had made arrangements in advance today, and Yan Fangfang's subordinates did not come. They should leave with you. However, for your personal safety, they shouldn't join the sleepers. Yan Fangfang hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. Strictly speaking, her subordinates weren't really her people, and Dongfang Chen could see that. Those people were also soldiers, probably sent to protect Yan Fangfang. Boss, what about our families? Tong Li asked. My suggestion is that the families should stay in the base. It's too dangerous outside, and you would have to spend time taking care of them. Of course, this is not mandatory. If anyone wants to leave with their families, they can. Dongfang Chen didn't make it a hard rule to forbid them from taking their families. Saying that would be like threatening them, holding their families hostage. Everyone nodded, indicating their agreement. Brother Dongfang, do we have to leave? Luo Er asked, frowning. We have to leave. But Luo Er, you can stay with your brother. We have no choice in some things, Dongfang Chen said comfortingly. Luo Er nodded in disappointment. She wasn't afraid of danger, she just didn't want to leave the base, to leave everyone. Comrades, in this apocalyptic world, we have no choice but to step up and take responsibility. Yes. Everyone stood at attention, shouted in unison, and then saluted. After the meeting, Dongfang Chen returned to his office. Niu Xingwang was standing at the office door waiting for him. Brother Niu, why don't you rest more? Dongfang Chen greeted him. Mr. Dongfang, I'm getting old and need less sleep, Niu Xingwang said awkwardly. As Dongfang Chen spoke, he invited Niu Xingwang into the office. Brother Niu, you don't have to be so polite. Just be casual with me, Dongfang Chen gestured for Niu Xingwang to sit down as well. Mr. Dongfang, I have to admire you. You are truly a divine being. If I had known this day would come, I wouldn't have done any business, and I would have sold everything to build the base for you quickly, Niu Xingwang said admiringly. He had been on the construction site for the past few months and felt this deeply. Compared to Dongfang Chen's design, theirs was just child's play. How could defensive works built on the ground be better than those built underground? Not to mention, the constant harassment and attacks by zombies were a headache. Every day, people were infected and then expelled from the settlement. Treatment? Forget about it. No one could cure them. It was a waste of time and resources. However, when he left, the base was still a shell, with nothing inside. But now, water, electricity and ventilation systems were all complete. They could even grow grain and vegetables. It would be fine even if they never went out for the rest of their lives. Awesome! Admirable! Choosing to rely on Dongfang Chen was the wisest decision he had ever made. After listening to Niu Xingwang, Dongfang Chen laughed and said, "Come on, Boss Niu. I don't know who it was, but when I said I was going to build an underground fortress, he was so scared he almost peed his pants." Niu Xingguang's old face turned red, and he said, "Ashamed, ashamed. Brother Niu, I want to talk to you about something serious today," Dongfang Chen said, leaning closer. Seeing Dongfang Chen become serious, Niu Xingwang quickly responded. "Mr. Dongfang, please speak. It's like this, I plan to establish a chamber of commerce. I don't know if you are interested." Dongfang Chen said. "Chamber of commerce? What for?" Niu Xingwang asked. "Just buying and selling supplies and stuff," Dongfang Chen replied. "Oh? Mr. Dongfang, can you be more specific?" Niu Xingwang asked, not quite understanding. "Wait a moment," Dongfang Chen said, walking out of the office. After a while, Dongfang Chen returned, carrying a briefcase. "Brother Niu, I have a gift for you," Dongfang Chen said with a smile, opening the case and taking out a vial of medicine. "This is?" Niu Xingwang asked. "Antigen serum," Dongfang Chen said. "What?" Niu Xingwang stood up suddenly. "Look at you, so easily startled, you scared me," Dongfang Chen said with a smile. "Mr. Dongfang. This, could it be the vaccine that resists the virus?" Niu Xingwang said incoherently. The families in the base hadn't been injected with the antigen yet, and his wife hadn't mentioned it to Niu Xingwang, so he still didn't know about the antigen serum in the base. "That's right," Dongfang Chen replied calmly. "Oh my god! This, Niu Xingwang didn't know what to say. As a businessman, he understood the business opportunities and value contained within better than others. At the same time, he also understood the risks and crises contained within. "Come, hold out your arm," Dongfang Chen said, opening the vial. Niu Xingwang was completely stunned, and unconsciously held out his arm. After the injection, Niu Xingwang sat there for more than 10 minutes, still with his arm exposed. Dongfang Chen waved his hand in front of him to call his soul back. "Ah! I'm sorry, Mr. Dongfang, I was distracted," Niu Xingwang said embarrassedly. "Brother Niu, if I entrust this business to you, would you be interested?" Dongfang Chen asked. This, Niu Xingwang didn't know where to start. "Brother Niu, if you have any difficulties, just say them, and we can study them together," Dongfang Chen said, cutting to the chase. "Oh! Mr. Dongfang! I'm just afraid I don't have the ability to protect the safety of the vaccine," Niu Xingwang said. "It's antigen," Dongfang Chen corrected. "Oh, right, antigen. This antigen can save lives. Even if there is just a slight rumor, I'm afraid countless people will risk their lives to snatch it," Niu Xingwang said. "That's why I said that this matter must be done by you. You understand the key points as soon as you hear them. To be honest, there are others in the base who want to do this business, and they have a lot of influence. I haven't formally expressed my position yet because I was waiting for you to come back. You don't have to worry about security issues, I will arrange everything properly. You just need to tell me if you are interested in doing this," Dongfang Chen said. "Since Mr. Dongfang has said so, then where is there any reason for me, Niu Xingwang, to refuse?" Mr. Dongfang, tell me, how do we do it? Niu Xingwang rolled up his sleeves, striking a pose ready to do a great job. That's right. This is the boss Niu I know. Dongfang Chen patted Niu Xingwang on the shoulder, stood up, and continued. Brother Niu, you will be in charge of allocating 60% of the vaccines produced by the base. I will use the remaining 40% for other purposes. You will take the lead in establishing a chamber of commerce, ostensibly doing some buying and selling of supplies, and slowly setting up an office in other settlements. The production of vaccines is limited, so large-scale sales are not realistic. However, using them to grease some palms and accumulate some resources and connections is not a problem. You are an expert in this area, so I won't show off my limited skills. Dongfang Chen explained roughly. Of course, there is no problem with that. But what is your purpose in doing this? Niu Xingwang couldn't figure it out. As expected, it's easy to chat with smart people. Come, brother Niu, let me show you something. Dongfang Chen led Niu Xingwang to the big screen. The screen began to play the cartoon from the previous 2 days. Is this real? After watching the cartoon, Niu Xingwang was also frightened. Now you understand why I want to do this, right? Dongfang Chen asked. I understand everything. What painstaking efforts! Niu Xingwang shook his head in admiration. Chapter 37. Niu Xingwang was increasingly grateful for his choice. Otherwise, how would he have the chance to survive in this fragmented world? Dongfang Chen took him in and gave him the resources and courage to take charge in this special era. He secretly vowed to do his best to repay such kindness. The Chamber of Commerce is one part of it. In addition, all members of our guard team will be sent out to form a new task sequence, lurkers. They are in the dark, you are in the light. When necessary, you can cooperate with each other, Dongfang Chen said. Niu Xingwang nodded, thought for a while, and asked. But if we do this, our base will inevitably be exposed to the world. Isn't it too dangerous? Yes, so I decided to do the opposite. How to do the opposite? Destroy the base, Dongfang Chen replied. What? Niu Xingwang was shocked again. As expected, following Dongfang Chen meant being prepared for a heart attack. Don't be surprised. It's just destroying the above-ground part and the entrance. Don't worry, everything will be arranged properly before the plan is executed, there will be no problems. After Niu Xingwang left, Dongfang Chen called Yan Fangfang in again. Boss, you are looking for me. Yan Fangfang said. Yes, sit down. The two sat down in front of the sofa. Do you have any psychological burden about joining the lurkers? Dongfang Chen asked. I've thought about it carefully, I have to join the lurkers, Yan Fangfang answered. Oh? Tell me about it. First, I can't help anyone by myself. Facing the virus, I can't do anything myself. Second, after learning that an even greater ecological crisis will occur, I hope that people can unite and deal with the crisis together. However, not to mention me, even if my dad comes forward, I'm afraid it's impossible to do this. So, we must find other methods. Third, I think you can do it. I feel that if anyone in this world can defeat the virus, it can only be you. Following you can save more people. Hearing this, Dongfang Chen understood that Yan Fangfang was just a simple holy mother. There's nothing wrong with being a holy mother, but being naive and a holy mother is a dead end. Without the ability to protect oneself, unbridled kindness will lead to eternal doom. Hopefully, she can mature after experiencing hardships. It's good that you understand. I'm here to ask you to do something today, Dongfang Chen said. What is it? Help me pass a message to your dad, saying that you've been kidnapped. Ah. Yan Fangfang was very puzzled. That's right. Think about it, if you tell your dad on the phone that you've discovered the antigen, what will happen? I guess he won't believe it, Yan Fangfang replied. That's right, not only will he not believe it, but he may also think you've been cheated. Since that's the case, it's better to be straightforward and tell your dad directly that you've been kidnapped. But what's the purpose of you doing this? Yan Fangfang asked. Meet your dad and talk to him face to face, Dongfang Chen said his purpose. Yan Fangfang considered it for a moment and replied. Okay. Okay, let's practice now. Half an hour later. Xiaolin had removed the shielding of Yan Fang's satellite phone. Yan Fang still picked up the phone a little unnaturally and dialed the number. The call connected. Hello. A deep voice came from the other side. Dad. I've been kidnapped, please come and save me. Yan Fang said, pretending to be scared. But it still sounded very fake. Okay. I'm very busy, say what you have to say quickly. Yan Zhengping directly saw through her disguise. Dongfang Chen snatched the phone and said. Commander Yan Zhengping, right? Who are you? Regardless of whether it was true or false, he couldn't tolerate anyone daring to call him by his name. You don't need to know who I am. Your innocent and lovely daughter is in my hands, and I want to make a deal with you, Dongfang Chen said calmly. In Yan Zhengping's impression, ordinary people wouldn't dare to say the words innocent and lovely in front of Yan Fang, she would definitely get angry. Now that someone said it, and his daughter didn't get angry, it was clear that things were not simple. What do you want? Yan Zhengping asked. Simple, 500 guns, 100,000 bullets, in exchange for a life. What do you think, is this a good deal? Guns, Dongfang Chen didn't need them. But asking for benefits made the play sound real. Impossible. Yan Zhengping replied. Then there's nothing to talk about, that's it. You don't need to make this call again in the future. Wait. Yan Zhengping said. Oh? What instructions does Commander Yan have? Where's the transaction? Yan Zhengping asked. He understood that the world had changed, and having guns meant having life. The country's ban on guns was no longer meaningful. So there were many desperados who wanted to take risks, which was not impossible. Write it down, Binjiang Park, Zikan District, Binjiang City, Lake Mountain Province. Call this number when you arrive. But be careful, I'll give you a maximum of 3 days, you must come in person, or else. After speaking, Dongfang Chen hung up the phone. The satellite phone signal was not shielded, so it would be easier for Yan Zhengping to find their location. Only if he could find the location would Yan Zhengping bring people to kill them. Only by bringing people to kill them could they make a commotion. And Dongfang Chen's purpose was to make this commotion. Only with a commotion would people believe that the base was destroyed. The play had to be done completely. Next were many details to be finalized. Dongfang Chen had the Queen Bee set up a workshop to rush out the equipment needed when the guard team members left. To speed up the process, many non-essential tasks were stopped. Most of the mechanical bee ants were put into this work. The first item to be rushed out was the dog tag. Currently, there were a total of 43 guard team members in the lurker task sequence, so the front of the dog tags were stamped with the numbers 143 respectively. And all the dog tags had the same content engraved on the back, 8 characters. May people not know, may the years be peaceful. This dog tag was not an ornament, in fact, it contained 100,000 dormant nanomachines. After activation, it can achieve biological attacks. For example, Dongfang Chen used the nanomachines on the dog tag to repair the vehicle. They can easily enter the vehicle, and if they find damaged parts, they can find materials from other places like ants to repair them. Also, when the zombies first besieged the base, Xiaolin ordered the Queen Bee to send out countless such nanomachines to quickly decompose the zombies. You can imagine the scene of thousands of ants attacking an elephant. In an instant, an elephant would be decomposed into a skeleton. And nanomachines can decompose even the bones. The second item that was rushed out was an electronic lighter similar to Zipper. In addition to being used as a lighter, the most important function was the satellite locator. It can achieve 2 functions, positioning and eavesdropping. Due to the failure of most satellites, the ground internet was interrupted. The information that Xiaolin could obtain was getting less and less. Through this lighter, Xiaolin's tentacles could be effectively extended. Wherever people go, the tentacles can extend. The third item that was rushed out took a long time and was also a very important item, a special simulation mechanical dog. This special simulation mechanical dog had several important functions. First, the mechanical dog can decompose crystal nuclei and charge other items. Laser guns, dog tags, lighters, and the mechanical dog itself all need energy, and the energy is obtained by the mechanical dog decomposing the crystal nuclei. Second, reconnaissance. The simulation of the mechanical dog is almost the same as a real dog, they move quickly and silently. With the help of the mechanical dog, the lurkers can obtain information more easily. Third, combat. In addition to biting, the mechanical dog is also equipped with 4 hidden laser emitters. Each emitter can rotate 360 degrees after activation and automatically lock on to the attack target. It can be said to be the best weapon for killing and arson. Chapter 38. On the third day, almost all the equipment was ready. At dusk, all the lurker members gathered in the training area to attend the pre-departure mobilization meeting. Everyone felt particularly heavy-hearted at the thought of parting. Soon, the mobilization meeting officially began. The first thing was to announce the code names. To ensure safety, everyone would no longer use their real names after leaving the base. Dongfang Chen had drawn up a list, combining the characteristics of each person, and gave everyone a code name. The list is as follows. Number 1, Zhang Yuankui, code name, Heavenly Killer. Number 2, Shen Vengong, code name, Tian Gang. Number 3, Ling Zhenhai, code name, Sea King. Number 4, Ruan Xinghua, code name, Smiling Tiger. Number 5, Tong Li, code name, Vetra. Number 6, Tang Kun, code name, Mantis. Number 7, Chu Zhengping, code name, Skylark. Number 8, Ji Hengfei, code name, Gigu. Number 26, Yan Fang Fang, code name, Fang Hua. Number 27, Shen Miluo, code name, Qunluo. The detailed list will be placed in the discussion area for everyone to view. The second thing was to announce the gestures and secret words to facilitate everyone's identification when walking outside. Gesture. Make a fist with your right hand, palm facing inward, and knock on your chest. Secret words. First half, how can we say we have no clothes? We share your robes. Second half, may people not know, and the years be peaceful. The meeting had progressed to this point, and we had to take a break. Everyone couldn't control their emotions and shed tears of sadness. Ah! May people not know, and the years be peaceful. Originally, it was just an ordinary sentence, but now it has become the most extravagant yearning. I really hope that the world doesn't understand how precious peaceful days are. The more they don't understand, the more it can show that everyone is living in happiness. No one wants to leave their family and go out to wander. But as Dongfang Chen said, the crisis is coming, no one is an onlooker, and no one is qualified to be an onlooker. In the face of the apocalypse, we have no choice but to step forward. The third thing was to distribute identity tags. Everyone received their own identity tag according to their number. Dongfang Chen briefly explained how to use the tags. After the explanation, everyone practiced on their own. Soon everyone mastered how to use them. The fourth thing was to distribute special mechanical dogs. The mechanical dogs had many functions, so everyone took a relatively long time to familiarize themselves with them. The fifth thing was to distribute communicators, the base's latest research and development of digital eye pupils and second-generation bone microphones. Second-generation bone microphone, it expands the original walkie-talkie function. To facilitate everyone's free communication, it supports the free creation of channels, supports satellite calls, and supports self-adjustment of volume. However, these functions require the cooperation of another piece of equipment, the digital eye pupil. Digital eye pupil, the shape is the same as contact lenses. After wearing it, it can project a network operation panel supported by the computing power of the supercomputing center in front of the eyes, which only the wearer can see. The main functions are 1. Night vision, 2. Location scanning, 3. Augmented reality, 4. Configuration menu. Through the configuration menu, you can pair and connect with the bone microphone. After connecting, you can perform a series of configurations. At this point, the equipment training was basically over. After the equipment training, Dongfang Chen called Niu Xingwang over to meet everyone. After all, Niu Xingwang had just returned to the base, and everyone except Brother Zhang was unfamiliar with him. Everyone would inevitably deal with Niu Xingwang in the future. So, it was necessary to meet each other and understand each other. There is one more thing, the vaccines have been injected for almost a week. It is possible that in the next 3 to 5 days to half a month, everyone will experience some physical changes one after another. If there is anything you don't understand, you can contact me through the bone microphone. Okay. The meeting will end here. Everyone needs to go back and explain things as soon as possible. At 1836, the moment the sun rises, everyone will set off on time. Finally, let me add that if everyone discovers any abnormal situations in the base after leaving, don't pay attention to them. Everything is within the plan. Everyone, attention! Brother Zhang shouted the command, and everyone stood at attention. Salute! Dongfang Chen also stood at attention and returned the salute. They looked at each other like this for about 30 seconds. Salute complete. Dismiss. December 9, 2054 AD, morning. At dawn, the first ray of sunlight greeted the horizon. Many people came out of the base's exit one after another. Each person was followed by a dog. They gathered together in twos and threes, saying goodbye to each other. Some people shook hands, some people hugged. Some people stretched out their right hands, made a fist, and pressed it against their chest. This action seemed to be contagious, and everyone who saw it stretched out their right hands, made a fist, and pressed it against their chest one after another. They looked at each other, silently. 1 minute later, everyone put on their hats, turned around with tears in their eyes, and strode away in all directions. 3 hours later, 5 military helicopters landed on an open space in Binjiang Park. Batches of soldiers armed with live ammunition jumped out of the helicopters. They quickly ran to the helicopter in the middle. On both sides of the door. Assemble. Line up. Each one was heroic and extraordinary. Immediately afterwards, the cabin door opened, and several soldiers guarded a 50-year-old officer as he walked off the plane. Everyone saluted. The middle-aged officer walked straight past the soldier queue and stood at the front. This scene showed that he was a big shot. The person who came was Yan Zhengping. Through telephone communication, Yan Zhengping brought people to the outside of the underground base. Looking from the outside, the 10-meter-high concrete wall proved that the owner here had extraordinary strength. Yan Zhengping frowned, thinking about something. Soon, the gate of the wall opened. Dongfang Chen walked out of the base accompanied by Brother Zhang and Ling Zhenhai. In order to complete the final scene today, Zhang Yuankui, Ling Zhenhai, Yan Fangfang, and her 6 subordinates did not leave in the morning. Yan Zhengping didn't take it to heart when he saw that the person who came was so young. Are you the person in charge here? Yan Zhengping spoke first. The aura on his body gave people a sense of oppression that was both dignified and intimidating. That's right. Did you bring the things? Dongfang Chen was not intimidated. Release the people first. Yan Zhengping ordered. That's impossible. If I release the people first, what if you don't give me the things? Dongfang Chen refused decisively. Then what do you want to do? Yan Zhengping asked sternly. You've come from so far away, why not come in and have a cup of tea? Forget about drinking tea, I'm very busy. Yan Zhengping didn't consider it at all. You think you're worthy of drinking tea with me? Is that so? Then I'm sorry, please go back. Don't delay your work. Dongfang Chen said playfully. Just kidding, you've already run to my doorstep, and you still want to control me? Bold. Are you tired of living? A soldier next to him stepped out and scolded. Yan Zhengping reached out to stop him and said calmly. Bring the person out, and we'll trade here. Is that so? That's fine too. But I'll state in advance that if people see scenes they shouldn't see, it has nothing to do with me. Dongfang Chen pretended to think and spread his hands. Yan Zhengping's face was livid, and he said fiercely. Very well. Lead the way. Please. Dongfang Chen made a gesture of invitation. Commander. Everyone stopped him one after another. Yan Zhengping raised his hand to signal them not to say anything and ordered. 2 people follow me in, the rest wait here. If I haven't come out in an hour, bomb this place flat. After speaking, he stepped inside. If you just look at the environment, it's actually not that great here, after all, it's not decorated. The biggest problem is that there's electricity here. This is not comparable to the military, the outside electricity is basically paralyzed. The fact that there is electricity here can indeed reflect the strength of the base's owner. Dongfang Chen took Yan Zhengping directly to the office on the 2nd floor underground. Because the members of the guard team had left, there was no one along the way, and it was empty everywhere. Dad. Entering the office, Yan Fangfang hurried to greet him. The remaining 6 subordinates, 3 standing and 3 sitting in wheelchairs, raised their hands and gave a military salute. Fangfang, are you all right? Yan Zhengping looked her up and down. Dad, I'm fine, Yan Fangfang replied. You weren't kidnapped. Yan Zhengping asked when he saw that his daughter could move freely and had no injuries. No. Yan Fangfang replied awkwardly. Nonsense. Yan Zhengping flicked his hand and said angrily. Commander Yan, don't be offended. I asked her to do this, Dongfang Chen said with a smile. You. Yan Zhengping squinted at him, not believing it at all. Just a young kid, you think you can command my daughter, can you? Dad. Okay, you're here now, let's not talk about this. We asked you to come because we have important things to discuss. Yan Fangfang smoothed things over, dragging her dad towards the sofa. Humph. Yan Zhengping was still angry, but he didn't refuse when his daughter dragged him. Chapter 39. Dad, let me formally introduce you. This is Dongfang Chen. This base belongs to him, Yan Fangfang said, pointing at Dongfang Chen. I'm not interested in knowing who he is. Just tell me, why did you trick me into coming here? Yan Zhengping asked bluntly, not giving any face. Dad, let him explain this matter, Yan Fangfang said, looking at Dongfang Chen. Commander Yan, it's meaningless for us to discuss anything with unequal information. So, please allow me to play a video first, Dongfang Chen said without waiting for Yan Zhengping's reply and directly played the video. Yan Zhengping watched the video, initially unconcerned, but the more he watched, the deeper his frown became. The video finished, but Yan Zhengping remained silent. Dongfang Chen wasn't in a hurry and waited for him to digest the information. After a long while. How can you prove that what's said in this video is true? Yan Zhengping raised his question. I can't prove it, Dongfang Chen replied, shrugging his hands. Humph. Yan Zhengping felt like he was being played and snorted coldly in anger. However, I believe Commander Yan still remembers that a few months ago, when the virus had just broken out, many departments of your government received a complete set of virus data, Dongfang Chen prompted. That's right. Yan Zhengping admitted. That data was sent out by me, Dongfang Chen said. It was you. Yan Zhengping stood up in surprise. They had investigated for a long time at that time but couldn't find the source of the information. He didn't expect it to be here. That's right, it was me, Dongfang Chen affirmed again. If that was the case, then this matter was complicated. The young man in front of him, who looked overly young, was definitely not simple. The fact had already proven that the virus data leaked a few months ago was correct. Then the video he just watched was likely also true. Who exactly was this person? What kind of power was hidden behind him? How did he or they obtain this information? Yan Zhengping couldn't understand. These things had exceeded his control. If such a force really existed, then the current situation would be more complex and severe than he understood. The feeling of being out of control was unpleasant. Especially for people like them who held high positions and great power. Can we talk now? Dongfang Chen asked, seeing that Yan Zhengping wasn't speaking. What do you want to talk about? Yan Zhengping asked. Dongfang Chen opened the safe on the table, took out a vial of antigen serum, and said. Let's talk about this first. What is this? Yan Zhengping asked. Dad, this is antigen serum. Yan Fangfang directly answered for Dongfang Chen. Bold. Yan Zhengping instantly exploded upon hearing this, standing up and glaring at Dongfang Chen in angry reprimand. Dad, what are you doing? Yan Fangfang was startled and said reproachfully. You guys are really audacious, daring to do such a thing. You go back to me right now, and you're not allowed to go anywhere else. After saying that, Yan Zhengping pulled Yan Fangfang to leave. Dad! What are you doing? Yan Fangfang shook off Yan Zhengping's hand and questioned loudly. What am I doing? You're still asking me what I'm doing? Do you even know what you're doing? The situation is so difficult, and you still dare to do such dirty deeds. Have you wasted all your decades of studying? Yan Zhengping angrily questioned his daughter. Dad, you're thinking too much. This is really an antigen, not a fake. Yan Fangfang finally understood. Her dad thought they were making fake medicine. Do you even believe that yourself? How many scientists in our Hua country are fighting day and night, and they still haven't found a single clue? Just you few amateurs, holed up in this place that never sees the light of day, what can you possibly produce? Yan Zhengping didn't believe it at all. I've already been injected with the antigen, and they three have also been injected. You can check if you don't believe me. Yan Fangfang was speechless at this self-righteous old fogey. Yan Zhengping was stunned. He didn't know what to say. That's right. Once they were injected, it would be clear after a check. The results of the inspection definitely couldn't be faked. You've really been injected? Yan Zhengping asked again to confirm. If you don't believe me, ask them, Yan Fangfang said, pointing to the 3 people sitting in wheelchairs. Yan Zhengping looked over. The 3 people sitting in wheelchairs nodded foolishly. Even so, we still have to go back and do an examination before drawing a conclusion. I only look at the examination results, Yan Zhengping replied. Okay, since that's the case, then you can take them back for an examination first. I'll wait here for the results. Yan Fangfang walked to the sofa and sat down with a thud. The meaning was to tell her dad that she wasn't leaving. You. Yan Zhengping was really about to be angered to death. He was out of ideas when it came to this daughter. What kind of situation was it if the daughter didn't leave, but the old man left first? You guys go out and arrange a helicopter to take these 3 people back to the military region to do an antigen test. By the way, tell the people outside to stay put and wait for orders, Yan Zhengping instructed the other 3 people beside Yan Fangfang. The 3 obeyed the order, pushed the 3 wheelchairs, and left the base. Commander Yan, since you want to wait for the test results, why don't we talk about something else first? Dongfang Chen said after the 6 people left. What do you want to talk about? Yan Zhengping asked. After learning that the virus information from a few months ago was released by Dongfang Chen, Yan Zhengping no longer disdained him as he had when he first arrived. A prerequisite for communication had begun to exist between the 2 people. Let's talk about this first. Dongfang Chen took out a Guardian 1 type combat suit. What is this again? Combat suit, Dongfang Chen replied. Combat suit? What are the effects? Tell me about it, Yan Zhengping said nonchalantly, and sat back on the sofa. Dongfang Chen simply explained the effects of the combat suit. The more Yan Zhengping listened, the brighter his eyes became. This was a good thing. They had bulletproof vests in their army, but they were all very thick. They also couldn't provide full body protection, only protecting vital parts. Bulletproof and puncture-proof were okay, but fireproof was not. The key was that their bulletproof vests were completely useless against zombies. A scratch anywhere on the arms, hands, face, or legs, and the soldier basically declared death. They didn't know how many soldiers had sacrificed themselves in battles with zombies during this period. Yan Zhengping had developed a heart condition because of this. He didn't expect such a pleasant surprise today. Without hesitation, he had the orderly go out and call in a few people. The soldiers all put on combat suits and conducted one-on-one close combat drills and long-range shooting drills. The results were very good. Good, good, good. Yan Zhengping excitedly said 3 goods in a row, and tears seemed to flash in the corners of his eyes. Seeing this scene, Yan Fangfang hurriedly walked over and took his arm. Since she was little, she had never seen her father with tears in his eyes. In her impression, her father was a steel-like man with an indestructible will. And today, he was actually crying. Although he didn't really cry out. She was no longer the ignorant girl she used to be, and she understood why her father had tears in his eyes. He was happy, happy for the soldiers. Xiao Chen, how much of this equipment do you have? Name a price, no matter how much, I want it all, Yan Zhengping said, calming down. With such equipment, he would have the confidence to let his soldiers fight the zombies head-on. Commander Yan, I can continue to produce this equipment, but the current stock is not much, Dongfang Chen replied. Okay, then you go all out to produce it. However much you produce, I want however much there is, Yan Zhengping said in a big voice. Commander Yan, aren't you going to listen to the price first? Dongfang Chen reminded. Price? Yan Zhengping was about to say that he could name any price, but suddenly reacted that money was useless now. So he changed his words and asked. What do you want? Crystal cores. Dongfang Chen replied. Crystal cores? What are crystal cores? Yan Zhengping asked. Sure enough, the virus had been outbreaking for more than 5 months, but the higher-ups hadn't learned about crystal cores yet. Dad, it's this, Yan Fangfang said, taking out the crystal core she had obtained earlier from her pocket. The crystal cores in her hand were not large, after all, they were all Tier 1 crystal cores. Yan Zhengping grabbed a crystal core. It was a blue polyhedron, crystal clear. He looked at it for a long time but couldn't figure out what it was. He asked. Is this a stone? It's not a stone. It was taken out of a zombie's body, Yan Fangfang explained. Immediately, she told everything she knew about the crystal core. Chapter 40. I see. Yan Zhengping understood. At the same time, he had an even higher opinion of this base. Things that the entire country of China couldn't figure out all had answers here. It was truly amazing. Commander Yan, to be honest, although I need crystal cores, I don't want the soldiers to risk their lives to get them. So, I propose a compromise, listen to it. Dongfang Chen said. Speak. Yan Zhengping said. I'll give you 100 sets of equipment on credit for the first batch, to equip some of the soldiers. With the protection of the equipment, it will definitely be much easier for the soldiers to obtain crystal cores. You can replenish me after you have collected enough crystal cores. Dongfang Chen said. Aren't you worried that I will default on the debt? Yan Zhengping asked. Commander Yan is joking. Our cooperation has only just begun. What are a few pieces of clothing? Dongfang Chen said with a smile. Yan Zhengping increasingly felt that the young man in front of him was good, and the initial sense of alienation was gone. What is your quoted price for this combat suit? Yan Zhengping asked. 100 crystal cores per piece, no bargaining. Dongfang Chen said. Yan Zhengping pondered slightly. Although he felt it was a bit expensive, it was expensive for a reason. So, he agreed. Okay. Then it's settled. That's how men buy things. If they like it, they have to buy it no matter how expensive it is. If they don't like it, they don't want it even if it's free. Yan Fangfang actually didn't remind her dad to haggle, which surprised Dongfang Chen a bit. After discussing the combat suit, Dongfang Chen also introduced the laser gun. However, the laser gun had limited damage and was limited by the scene. Energy bars had to be purchased separately, which really didn't interest him, so he could only give up. After talking about these things, it was time for dinner. Dongfang Chen asked people to bring some food, and also brought a bottle of high-proof Fenjiu. The two of them began to exchange cups in the office. At about 8 o'clock in the evening, a messenger came in to report an emergency call from the military headquarters. Yan Zhengping took the call and said. This is Yan Zhengping. What? Yan Zhengping stood up, the alcohol instantly dissipating. Are you sure? Okay, okay, okay. Immediately seal off the laboratory building, no one is allowed to enter or leave. All relevant personnel must sign a confidentiality agreement. All experimental samples and results must be sealed. Set this matter as top secret, no one is allowed to access it without permission. Yan Zhengping paced back and forth excitedly while issuing orders. He hung up the phone and sat down. He looked at Dongfang Chen, then at Yan Fangfang. The two of them also knew something was up, so they just looked at him without saying anything. Tell me your request. Yan Zhengping said to Dongfang Chen. What request? Dongfang Chen pretended to be stupid. Contribute the technical data. Yan Zhengping said. Commander Yan. What nonsense are you talking about? How is that possible? Dongfang Chen refused. Humph. I'm telling you, you can't protect this thing on your own. Yan Zhengping reminded him. Then can you protect it? Dongfang Chen asked back with a smile. You. Yan Zhengping was depressed, unexpectedly looked down upon. But thinking about it, he was just one of the 19 counselors. If they all came to put pressure on him, it would be enough to give him a headache. Commander Yan, do you know what kind of person is unscrupulous? I'll tell you, someone who has nothing. So, let's talk about the price. Dongfang Chen said. Yan Zhengping didn't insist anymore and asked. Let's hear your quote. 200 crystal cores per dose. Dongfang Chen replied. So cheap? That was Yan Zhengping's first reaction. This was a life-saving thing, someone would snatch it up even for 20,000 crystal cores. But after thinking for a moment, he felt that it wasn't necessarily the case. This thing was still hoped to be used by ordinary people. For ordinary people, this price was very high. Yan Zhengping was repeatedly considering the price. Dongfang Chen took the opportunity to glance at Yan Fangfang, wondering why she didn't haggle. I haven't even said the lines I prepared. Yan Fangfang understood his meaning and gave an indifferent expression. meaning she didn't care. Sigh, this father and daughter, really, unpredictable. Dongfang Chen looked like he had seen through everything. In fact, Yan Fangfang didn't speak for her father for two reasons. First, who told him not to trust people? Second, Dongfang Chen needed resources, a lot of resources. With resources, he would have a greater chance of defeating the virus. So, she didn't help Dongfang Chen to collude with her father, which was already fulfilling her duty as a good daughter. Okay, that's the price. However, you can only sell your antigen to me. Yan Zhengping said after thinking for a long time. Commander Yan, I'm sorry. I can give you a maximum of 80%, that's the limit. Dongfang Chen refused. Dongfang Chen said 80% on the surface, but in reality, he was just fooling people. He reserved 60% for Niu Xingwang, leaving only 40%, so where did 80% come from for him? In reality, he would only give him 30%, keeping 10% for himself. Why could he do this? The reason was simple, because no one knew his production capacity. He could say it was any percentage he wanted, he could just make it up. You silly kid! I'm protecting you, don't you understand? Yan Zhengping was amused. Commander Yan, a famous person doesn't speak frankly. Since I have the ability to produce antigens, can I not have the strength to protect myself? So, you don't need to worry about safety. In addition, although I'm giving you 80% of the production, I have an additional request. Dongfang Chen said. What request? It cannot be sold publicly. Dongfang Chen replied. What kind of medicine is this kid selling in his gourd? Why can't I understand it at all? Yan Zhengping was confused. He couldn't figure it out after thinking for a long time, so he simply asked. Why? There's no why, because you don't have the ability. Dongfang Chen said. You, Yan Zhengping pointed at him, unable to speak. Damn it! Did I not look at the almanac when I went out today? I've been looked down upon by this kid repeatedly. Commander Yan, I don't mean to look down on you. I'm doing this for your own good. Think about it, you have the vaccine and you're selling it at such a high price, how will the ordinary people evaluate you? How will other counselors criticize you? Your position is too high, you have too many concerns, so don't wade into this water. Moreover, the production capacity is very low in the short term, only 2 doses a day, it's not even enough to sell. Dongfang Chen patiently explained to him, also giving him a way out. Only 2 doses a day. Yan Zhengping asked disdainfully. See, exactly the same reaction as Yan Fangfang's initial reaction. Yes. Dongfang Chen replied very confidently, never showing any timidity when lying. Then what's there to talk about? It's settled then. Yan Zhengping agreed simply. 2 doses a day wasn't even enough to fill the gaps between his teeth, there was no surplus to sell. The two of them discussed until dawn. In the middle, Yan Zhengping learned more about the red oxygen, he had to prepare for this in advance. Finally, it was agreed that Yan Fangfang would act as an intermediary, fully responsible for the transactions between them. In addition, Dongfang Chen told Yan Zhengping that after they left, the base would be destroyed. After that, the base would no longer exist. And the destroyer was Yan Zhengping himself. Was he making himself the scapegoat? However, Yan Zhengping considered it and agreed. Do extraordinary things in extraordinary times. If the secrets of the base were exposed in the future, a destroyed base would be safer than an existing base. If someone came to Yan Zhengping, at most he would not admit it, nor would he deny it, it was right not to express his position. Sun Tzu's Art of War says, the best defense is not to let people know where to attack. Without a target to attack, the base would naturally be safe. December 10, 2054 AD. At dawn, Dongfang Chen stood on the wall, watching Yan Zhengping, Yan Fangfang and others board the plane. Subsequently, Zhang Yuankui and Ling Zhenhai also left the base with their simulated mechanical dogs. Dongfang Chen stood on the wall for a long time, until the two disappeared from sight, then he turned and descended the wall. Subsequently, under the destruction of countless bee ants, the base's walls and ground buildings were reduced to ruins. Chapter 41. Xiaolin, display the space station status. OK, Commander. Panel switched. Current space station level 1, with 4 modules, as follows. Power module, level 1. Core module, Optical Brain Level 1. Central Hall, Level 1. Experiment Module, Level 1. The lower right corner displays the current status, upgradable. Xiaolin, how long will it take to upgrade the space station to Level 2? Dongfang Chen asked. Commander, the space station's main program upgrade mainly involves adjusting the pointers of the program valves, which doesn't take too long. It is estimated that it will take 10 minutes to complete the refresh. However, the module upgrades require the worker bee robots to collect materials, which will take a long time, Xiaolin explained. Does this mean that if the space station's main system program is not upgraded, the level of the modules cannot be improved? Dongfang Chen asked. Yes, Commander. The level of the modules cannot exceed the level of the main program. Okay, then upgrade the space station's main program to Level 2 first, Dongfang Chen said. Yes, Commander. Immediately afterward, the space station projection on the screen disappeared, displaying only one line of text. Space station upgrading, please wait. 10 minutes later. The screen refreshed, and the status of the space station was reloaded. Power Module, Level 2. Core Module, Optical Brain Level 2. Central Hall, Level 1. Experiment Module, Level 1. Xiaolin, what's next? Commander, it is recommended that you upgrade the Central Hall first. Only when the Central Hall is upgraded to Level 2 can the Experiment Module be upgraded, and new modules can be expanded. Okay, then upgrade the Central Hall. Dongfang Chen said. Yes, Commander. The status in the lower right corner started scrolling. Worker bee robots activated 100/100. Worker bee robots dispatched. Collecting materials. At the same time, the status of the Central Hall turned yellow, with a large number displayed, 0%. After dealing with the space station, Dongfang Chen prepared to check the current status of the base. Xiaolin, switch to the base panel. Okay, Commander, panel switched. The current base has the following functions. Underground Level 1, Living Area, Population, 63/1200. Underground Level 2, Office Area, Training Area, Medical Area, Quarantine Area. Underground Level 3, Material Storage Area. Underground Level 4, Hive, Main Control. Underground Level 5, Power Generation Room. Underground Level 6, Production Area. The production area mainly includes the following modules. Food Category. Wheat Production Module X7, Potato Production Module X2, Cabbage Production Module X2, Pig Breeding Module X1, Incubation Module X1. Equipment Category. Combat Suit Production Module X1, Weapon Production Module X1, Special Equipment R/U0026D Module X1, Simulated Robot Manufacturing Module X1. Medicine Category. Antigen Serum Production Module X1. Xiaolin, can the number of antigen serum production modules be increased? Dongfang Chen asked. Sorry, Commander, due to raw material limitations, the number of antigen serum production modules cannot be increased, Xiaolin replied. How can it be increased? Dongfang Chen asked. Need crystal cores, Xiaolin replied. Okay. Currently, crystal cores can only be provided by Yan Zhengping. For now, we can only wait. What is the current status of the supercomputing center? The supercomputing center is operating normally, and the current computing power usage is 35%. If we need to upgrade the supercomputing center later, how do we do it? Commander, after the central hall is upgraded to level 2, R/U0026D module, quantum communication module, and payload module can be added. The upgrade of the supercomputing center requires these three modules as preconditions. Okay, I understand. Southwest Military Region Command. Secretary Yan, call Rongpo over here, Yan Zhengping said. Yes. Half an hour later. Report. Enter. Commander, you were looking for me. Yes. Go inside and change into a set of equipment, Yan Zhengping pointed to the inner room of his office. Yes. 10 minutes later. Commander, why does this outfit feel so weird? Rongpo asked awkwardly, wearing a black bodysuit and combat boots, holding a hood in his hand. The scene was indeed a bit strange, like wearing long underwear without pants, and then wearing a pair of sneakers directly. Yan Zhengping directly picked up the notebook on the table and threw it over. Can't you put on the outer pants, you brat? Yes. Rongpo hurriedly ran back into the inner room. This time, he looked normal when he came out. Why aren't you wearing the hood? Yan Zhenping's face tightened. Commander, this. Rongpo was very embarrassed. What's wrong? No. Wearing this hood makes me look like a terrorist. Put it on for me. Yan Zhengping couldn't help but want to slap him. Yes. After being fully armed, Yan Zhengping walked around him, looked at him, and then said. You also pick a sharp knife platoon and have them all change into this kind of clothes. Then go to Mapo village to eliminate 100 zombies and bring back their heads. What? Commander. Haven't you always opposed everyone going out to kill zombies? Rongpo thought he had misheard. This time is different, go ahead. Come back to me after completing the mission. Remember, do not take off the hood. Yan Zhengping said. Chapter 42. This time is different, you go. Come back to me after the mission is completed. Remember, no removing the headgear. Yan Zhengping said. Yes. Mapo village is the closest village to the headquarters, only a 15-minute drive away. 3 hours later. Report. Enter. Rongpo walked in excitedly. Commander, where did you get this outfit? Get us a few hundred more sets for Zhanfeng. Humph. Weren't you looking unwilling just now? Yan Zhengping said, squinting. Hee, Commander, it was my dog eyes that didn't recognize gold inlaid with jade. Don't hold it against me. You see. Rongpo looked at him expectantly. This outfit isn't cheap. I had to use my old face to get these 100 sets on credit. Yan Zhengping shook his head. Commander, don't try to fool me. I know that there's nowhere to spend money outside now. You can give him as much as he wants. Rongpo wasn't fooled. Humph. You're too smart. This stuff can't be bought with money. Yan Zhengping glanced at him and continued. Then what do you use to buy it? Rongpo didn't understand. Crystals. Yan Zhengping replied. Crystals? What are crystals? Rongpo continued to ask. Did you bring back the zombie's head? Yan Zhengping asked. Yes, we brought it back. It's in the quarantine area. Rongpo replied. Let's go, over there. Yan Zhengping stood up, put on his military cap, and walked out. Rongpo followed closely behind. A platoon that had gone out to perform a mission was waiting in the quarantine area, all craning their necks to look. When they saw the commander coming, everyone hurriedly stood at attention and saluted. Behind them, 100 zombie heads were piled together, looking a bit creepy. Commander, don't get too close. Rongpo protected Yan Zhengping, reminding him. Although the virus is not transmitted through the air, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's okay. You guys go over there, use your daggers to cut open the back of their heads, and see if there's anything special. Yan Zhengping ordered. Yes. The soldiers, one by one, took out their daggers and began searching. Report, Commander, a discovery. Report, Commander, a discovery. Well, put all the things you dug out over here and count them. Yan Zhengping said. In a minute or two, all the crystals were gathered. Report, Commander. Counted, a total of 98. A soldier reported. Commander, is this the crystal you were talking about just now? Rongpo asked. Yes. Comrades, the things you just dug out are called crystals. According to reliable sources, zombies that have been zombified for more than 15 days will form such crystals in the back of their heads. In the future, when you are eliminating zombies, collect these crystals as much as possible. Yan Zhengping said. Yes. Everyone responded. Commander, can this thing be exchanged for the black clothes we're wearing? Rongpo was still concerned about the equipment. Yan Zhengping ignored him and continued loudly. The black clothes you are wearing are called the Guardian 1 combat suit. Everyone has performed a mission. Let's talk about your feelings. Report, Commander, this outfit is amazing. The zombie bit down, but it didn't break through. Report, Commander, my arm was scratched. Look, the outside of the clothes is broken, but the inside is intact. Report, Commander, the clothes are very light to wear and do not hinder body movement at all. Report, Commander, this headgear looks like a terrorist. Can it be made to look better? Everyone spoke one after another. Most people were talking about the advantages, the only issue was that it looked like a terrorist. Comrades, everyone knows. During this period, in the battle with zombies, our sacrifices have been serious. Many soldiers have clearly suffered only minor injuries, but they have helplessly closed their eyes. The reason is that our equipment is not good, and it cannot protect our soldiers. Therefore, I ordered everyone to prohibit hunting zombies unless necessary. Yan Zhengping paused here and continued. But now the situation is different. We have combat suits, and we have the confidence to fight zombies. Many people complain that the headgear is too ugly. What is that called? That's called ignorance. Without all-round protection, you are weak chickens in front of zombies, not even weak chickens. From today, only soldiers equipped with this combat suit can go out on missions. Those who don't have it, stay in the barracks obediently. Report. Rongpo shouted loudly. Speak. Commander, you haven't said how many crystals this combat suit needs. Rongpo asked in front of everyone to let everyone know that there was a price to pay for getting this outfit. This combat suit is not cheap, these crystals on the ground can only be exchanged for one. Yan Zhengping replied. Rongpo breathed a sigh of relief, it was cheaper than he thought. This is only one crystal for going out for an hour or so. If they take the brothers out every day, everyone will soon have clothes. Like a snowball, the more people with equipment, the faster the speed of collecting crystals. Anyway, with this awesome equipment to protect them, the zombies can't do anything to them. Chapter 43. Report, Commander. Speak. The Zhanfeng assault team's sharp knife 1st platoon requests permission to engage. The platoon leader shouted loudly. Good. That's the spirit. Sharp knife 1st platoon, listen up. Yan Zhengping yelled. With a shua, everyone moved in perfect unison. Soldiers. The time for our action has come. Unlimited firepower, kill them hard. Bring back those crystal cores for me. Yan Zhengping shouted. The last sentence, bring back those crystal cores for me, would make anyone who didn't know better think Yan Zhengping was a money grubber. In reality, he was anxious to get vaccines, and anxious to get more equipment. At the same time, he also hated those zombies for staining the warriors' hands with blood. Kill. 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 The soldiers had morale, courage, and confidence. When it came to getting crystal cores, their efficiency was definitely high. Brother, where are we going? Luo Er asked. We're going to Mazhu, Shen Vengong replied. Are we going to look for Ant? Luo Er continued to ask. We'll go look. If we can't find her, we'll lie low there. Okay, Luo Er had no objections. Platoon leader, are you planning to go to the Qinghe settlement? Ling Zhenhai communicated with Zhang Yuanqui through bone mic. Forget it, too many people I know, it's inconvenient to act, Zhang Yuanqui replied. Then where are you planning to go? Kyoto, Zhang Yuanqui replied. Ling Zhenhai paused for a few seconds, then said. You're still the platoon leader. You think so thoroughly. Kyoto was the political center of Hua country. Going there to lie low, the value you could bring would be absolutely immense. What about you? Zhang Yuanqui asked in return. I'm not going back to my hometown either, I'll just wander around, Ling Zhenhai replied. Who's there? Yo. Boss Niu. You're still alive. The soldier guarding the entrance asked mockingly. What are you saying? What storms haven't I, old Niu, been through? I'm still living well. This time, Niu Xingwang wasn't intimidated by them. Oh ho! Boss Niu made a fortune on his trip. Tisk tisk, look at this get-up, truly a big boss. The guarding soldier acted like a hooligan, probably temporarily drafted. Niu Xingwang ignored them and strode forward. Stop! Boss Niu, you can't go in. What, want a bribe? Hey! Look at what you're saying. This is the rule. All right. I'm just afraid that it'll be easy to take in, but hard to spit out. Niu Xingwang joked, casually taking out 2 bars of chocolate from his bag and tossing them over. Don't worry. Once something's taken in, there's no reason to spit it out, the soldier had no idea what he meant. Niu Xingwang snorted coldly and walked through the security door. Boss Niu, you're back. Boss Niu, Do you still have work? If you need people, look for me. Countless people greeted Boss Niu along the way. Boss Niu ignored them, walking straight ahead. Those who spoke and were ignored by Boss Niu glared, spat, and cursed silently behind him. Everyone did something different. Niu Xingwang didn't care. When he was at his lowest a few days ago, they had the same attitude. He carried a huge travel bag and walked straight into the Qinghe settlement's temporary headquarters. Boss Niu, why are you here? Secretary Lu asked. Yo! Secretary Lu, why are you here? What, is Mayor Gong here? Niu Xingwang asked in surprise. Yes, he arrived yesterday, Secretary Lu replied. That's perfect, come on, take me to see Mayor Gong. Hey, Boss Niu, you can't go. Secretary Lu hurriedly stopped him. What? Secretary Lu, using people when you need them and ignoring them when you don't? I, old Niu, am not even worthy to see Mayor Gong now. Niu Xingwang pretended to be unhappy. Secretary Lu thought to himself, you're not even worth a fart now. Is the mayor so easy to see? But even though he thought so in his heart, he couldn't say it on the surface. After all, the city hadn't settled a single penny of the construction funds for the 6 resettlement areas with him. Look at what you're saying. Mayor Gong is in a meeting right now. The Qinghe settlement is about to move north, and there's a lot of work to arrange, Secretary Lu explained. Secretary Lu, you're getting better and better at handling people. Niu Xingwang didn't believe a word of it. He was deliberately stopping him, worried that he would cry poor in front of Mayor Gong and demand payment. But at the same time, he had to save face, so he continued. Like this. I only have 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, if I see Mayor Gong, I won't talk about the engineering funds, I don't need the account either. Secretary Lu, what do you think? Really? Secretary Lu was suspicious. When I, old Niu, speak, my word is my bond. Niu Xingwang said heroically. All right. It's a deal. You come with me. Secretary Lu also went all out. In order to reduce the burden on Mayor Gong, he was breaking his heart, and losing all his face. Headquarters 2nd floor office. Mayor Gong was chatting with team leader Liao. Seeing Secretary Lu leading Niu Xingwang in, both of them were stunned. How could this Secretary Lu be so tactless in his work? Why bring Niu Xingwang at this time? But since the person was already in, what could they do? Yo! Boss Niu, a rare guest. Why are you free to come sit today? Mayor Gong said. Mayor Gong, Boss Niu said he doesn't want the engineering funds, he considers it a generous contribution to our Binjiang city. Right, Boss Niu. Secretary Lu hurriedly explained, then glanced sideways as a hint. Oh? Boss Niu, is this true? Team leader Liao was overjoyed when he heard this, thinking. I knew it, this Secretary Lu is an old hand by Mayor Gong's side, he couldn't possibly be indiscreet in his work. That's right, that's how it is, Niu Xingwang cooperated, continuing. But there's another matter that I need to discuss with Mayor Gong privately. I wonder if it's convenient. Team leader Liao knew what he meant and hurriedly said. Boss Niu, you've done a great thing for our Binjiang. Mayor Gong, I happen to have something to do, so you guys chat. After speaking, he left the office. Secretary Lu also walked out and closed the door. Chapter 44. Boss Niu, please have a seat, Mayor Gong said. Okay, sure. Boss Niu, is there something you need to see me about today? Mayor Gong, I heard that our Qinghe resettlement is going to be relocated north. Niu Xingwang asked. Many people already knew about this, it wasn't a secret. Yes, that's right. Mayor Gong admitted. Then, I wonder where it will be relocated to. Currently, the tentative plan is to divide the people between Huizhou and Mazhu, Mayor Gong said without hiding anything. Then where will you be transferred to, Mayor Gong? Niu Xingwang asked. Boss Niu, you're acting a bit strange today. Is there something on your mind? Mayor Gong asked, frowning. It's like this, Mayor Gong. I'm planning to establish a chamber of commerce. I was thinking of setting up the headquarters wherever you go, Niu Xingwang explained. This was half true and half false. The purpose of saying this was more of a psychological suggestion, implying to Mayor Gong that he was his loyal supporter. Oh? Boss Niu wants to establish a chamber of commerce? What kind of business will it be doing? Mayor Gong asked. Clearly, Mayor Gong's attitude had become much warmer. Nothing much, just buying and selling some daily necessities, Niu Xingwang replied. Well, that's good. Currently, there's a shortage of supplies in the resettlement, and we need responsible and socially conscious businessmen like Boss Niu to engage in the collection and turnover of supplies, Mayor Gong said grandly. However, Mayor Gong, without your wise leadership, to be honest, I don't feel secure. Niu Xingwang still wanted to know where Mayor Gong would be transferred to. Boss Niu, rest assured. Our Hua country is Hua country under parliamentary governance. Wherever you do business, you will be guaranteed, Mayor Gong said, clearly against his will. What guarantee? Where was the guarantee? Hadn't he been given a single cent for the construction of the resettlement, almost starving him to death? Mayor Gong, you know a little about my situation. If I, Lao Niu, hadn't promised to donate all the project funds, you wouldn't even be seeing me today. Tell me, how can I feel secure? Niu Xingwang pretended to cry with grievance. It couldn't be said that he was completely pretending, after all, the grievance was real. Ah! Boss Niu, we can all see your contribution, and the people of Binjiang City will thank you. At this critical moment of life and death, we need to take a lighter view of our personal interests, don't you think? Mayor Gong said, uttering platitudes against his will. Mayor Gong is right. You're right. We can't only think about ourselves. Then how about this, you help me issue a certificate, and I'll go directly to Huizhou. Coincidentally, I still have 10,000 caddies of grain in my hands, and I'll bring them all to Huizhou. Niu Xingwang suddenly stood up and said righteously. Upon hearing about 10,000 caddies of grain, Mayor Gong immediately became anxious, thinking, damn, you old cow. Why didn't you mention having so much grain earlier? If I were to take this to Mazhu, that would be an incredible achievement. Sure enough, he's an old fox. Hey, hey, hey. Boss Niu. Look at your temperament, why are you in such a hurry? Even if we have a spirit of dedication, we must master the methods. Mazhu is in the south, closer to our Binzhou. It's better for you to go to Mazhu, what are you going to Huizhou for? Didn't I just hear a few days ago that Huizhou is short of grain? Then I'll definitely go wherever I'm needed, Boss Niu said nonsense. In this day and age, where isn't there a shortage of grain, does he need to hear about it? Hey! You! Boss Niu, I'll be honest with you. Most of the people in our Qinghe resettlement will be relocated to Mazhu. The Milan ancient town in Mazhu was originally a 5A scenic spot, I believe you've been there before. Milan ancient town is our destination for this relocation. Think about how safe Milan is, with such high city walls all around, zombies definitely can't climb in. Listen to me, you can't go wrong, everyone go to Milan together, Mayor Gong explained in detail. Indeed, interest is the foundation of negotiation. Okay. Mayor Gong, I'll listen to you. I'll go to Milan. Niu Xingwang said, pretending to be excited. Hey! That's right. Well, it's almost dinner time, don't leave, let's have a simple meal together. And so, under the surprised gazes of everyone, Niu Xingwang and Mayor Gong had dinner together. Everyone had a common view in their minds, the former boss Niu is back. The soldier on duty at the gate trembled in his heart after hearing the news. Damn! It seems like I have to spit out the benefits I received. 3 days later. Yuzhou Province, Mazhu City, Suiyang Resettlement. Wow, so many people, what are they doing? Luo Er and her brother Shen Vengong had just arrived here after traveling for several days. Let's go take a look, Shen Vengong said. Recruitment notice. This was the first time Shen Vengong had seen such a thing. In the past, he often saw things like missing person notices, recruitment ads, and small advertisements posted on the walls. When he was a boxing coach, he also went out to post them. The recruitment notice roughly stated that 4 people had gone to Mazhu City the day before yesterday, but there had been no news for 2 days. They wanted to recruit a few people to go to the city to find them, and there would be a generous reward. The publisher was called Mei Wenhua. Mei Wenhua, no culture? What kind of name is that? Shen Vengong wanted to laugh a little. The onlookers were talking about it, and Shen Vengong stood next to them listening. It turned out that this Mei Wenhua was a local businessman, quite famous, the boss of a chain supermarket. Although he was now hiding in the resettlement like everyone else, he had supplies in his hands and was still living a good life. As for what relationship the 4 people to be found in the recruitment notice had with him, it wasn't mentioned above, and no one knew. Listening further, it was just some gossip, of no value. So Shen Vengong took his sister and left. Chapter 45. Brother, where are we going? Luo Er asked. We're going to find no culture, Shen Vengong replied. No culture? Luo Er was stunned for a moment, then burst out laughing. Haha, brother, you're so funny. Mei Wenhua, no culture. Ha ha ha, how did you figure it out, brother? Why would he choose such a name? Luo Er chattered on and on, leaving Shen Vengong speechless. Was it really that funny? Such a low sense of humor. However, seeing his sister's sunny smile, he felt quite happy himself. 2 dogs, one on each side, silently followed the 2 people, extremely obedient. Soon, following the address on the recruitment notice, Shen Vengong arrived at the door of a secluded courtyard. Most people in the settlement lived in tents. To be able to get a courtyard here, one had to be capable. Who are you looking for? After Shen Vengong knocked on the door, a girl in her 20s came out. She seemed to be an assistant or something, dressed in professional attire. Hello, we're here according to the address on the recruitment notice, Shen Vengong said. Oh. Hello, please come in. The girl opened the door and led them inside. Sorry, pets are not allowed inside, the girl said, stopping them when she saw 2 large dogs following behind. Oh, is that so? But they are very well behaved. They won't run around or bark, right, Duya? Luo Er explained. Luo Er named her dog Duya, Bean Sprout. Duya nodded in cooperation. Is this dog a spirit? The girl looked puzzled, so cute, what to do, she liked them so much. While the girl was in a daze, Luo Er spoke again. Miss, Duya will get lost if left outside. Please let them in. Okay. Okay, all right. But let them follow me first after they come in. You can pick them up when you leave, the girl said. Yay! Thank you, miss. Luo Er was very happy, and the girl smiled awkwardly. The courtyard was designed in a very simple and ancient style. The first thing you see when you enter the courtyard gate is a screen wall made of blue bricks. A huge lotus flower was carved on the screen wall. In the upper right corner were 2 lines of inscription, rising from the mud, yet unstained, washed by the clear ripples, yet alluring. After passing the screen wall, the courtyard was already full of people. It seemed that they were all here to apply. Although there were many people, they were all sallow-faced and emaciated, with unkempt hair and dirty faces, and their clothes were mostly tattered. On the steps in front of the main room was a Grand Master's chair, and a middle-aged man in his 40s was leaning on it. He occasionally picked up his thermos cup, unscrewed the lid, and took a sip of tea. President Mei, the people are almost here. Let's begin, a young woman wearing glasses and professional attire said, bowing her head. The middle-aged man didn't speak, but nodded slightly. Hello everyone. Welcome, warriors, to apply. However, for the sake of responsibility to everyone, we will conduct some basic assessments to determine everyone's strength. Only those who pass the assessment can participate in this operation. So next, let's begin the first assessment, weightlifting. Under the guidance of the young woman, the group came to a corner of the courtyard. A barbell was placed in the corner, but its weight was unknown. Here is a barbell, weighing 60 kilograms. No matter what method you use, as long as you successfully lift the barbell and hold it for 5 seconds, you will be considered qualified. Reminder, if you can't do it, don't force it, to avoid injury. Alright, let's begin. A young man with a stopwatch was already standing quietly by the side, waiting. The people lined up and tried one by one. 60 kilograms, which is 120 pounds. It's really a bit difficult for people who don't usually do heavy work to lift it. As expected, several people in a row failed. Some 2 people couldn't even lift the barbell even 1 centimeter. It can't be entirely blamed on them. They haven't had anything good to eat for months, and they were dizzy from hunger. Where would they have much strength? Then, a strong man shouted loudly. His face was flushed red, and the blood vessels and veins on his neck bulged. He finally managed to hold on for 5 seconds. The crowd applauded and cheered. However, without exception, everyone behind him failed. This time, it was Shen Vengong's turn. Shen Vengong wasn't sure if he could lift 120 pounds. So he stretched out his hands and tentatively used some force first. That's not right. The barbell was lifted slightly, then put down. The crowd thought he had given up. Unexpectedly, Shen Vengong stood up and didn't leave. Instead, he put down the long object wrapped tightly in cloth that he was carrying on his back, moved his wrists, and prepared to try again. He grabbed the handle with both hands, and with a light lift, the barbell was successfully lifted over his head. His face was not red, and he was not out of breath. He looked effortless. The crowd was astonished. Even the middle-aged man sitting at the door of the main room couldn't help but be shocked. Good fellow. That's real strength. All right, that's enough. The young woman next to him reminded him. Shen Vengong put down the barbell only after hearing the reminder. The crowd cheered in unison. Shen Vengong picked up the long object leaning next to him and walked down. Then, Luo Er walked up. Qian Luo, what are you doing? Shen Vengong scolded. The infiltrators have a rule that they must use code names when outside. So in front of everyone, Shen Vengong no longer called her Luo Er. Brother, I want to try too, Luo Er said with a smile. Nonsense, come down quickly. Shen Vengong ordered. Chapter 46. Big sister, if I don't sign up, can I go to the city with my brother? Luo Er ignored him and turned to ask the young woman beside her. I'm sorry, I'm afraid not, the woman said apologetically. What if I secretly follow along? Luo Er continued to ask. If you do that, I'm afraid not only will you not get paid, but we will also be implicated. You may not be clear, but the people we recruit need to be registered with the headquarters. If there are any accidents, we will also bear joint responsibility. So, if you insist on going, either sign up, or we won't dare to use either of you, the woman explained. Did you hear that, brother? You don't want to leave me alone in the settlement, do you? Luo Er asked with a smile. Well, then give it a try. Don't force yourself if you can't do it. At worst, we just won't go, Shen Vengong reminded her. Luo Er nodded lightly and placed the long object on her back against the wall. She stretched her wrists. Her intuition told her that she could lift this barbell. However, to be safe, she first gently lifted it like Shen Vengong to feel the weight. Whoa! This action surprised the onlookers. Even the young woman beside her was shocked. Is this, really a young girl of 18 or 19? How can she be so strong? You know, there were several men before who couldn't even lift it. Several men in the crowd wished they could find a hole to crawl into. It was embarrassing. Luo Er put down the barbell, looked at her brother, and nodded. Meaning she could do it. Shen Vengong also nodded, indicating his agreement. Seeing her brother agree, Luo Er lowered her head again, took a deep breath, and concentrated. She gripped the barbell with both hands, exerted force, and lifted. She lifted it. She, really, lifted it. The crowd exclaimed in unison. After about 7 or 8 seconds, Luo Er put down the barbell, her face flushed from holding her breath. Brother, look, I lifted it. Luo Er said happily. Shen Vengong gave her a thumbs up. The crowd burst into thunderous applause. Soon, the first test was completed. Out of dozens of people, only 8 passed the test. The rest were eliminated and left dejectedly. Okay, next we will conduct the second test, shooting, the young woman said to the remaining 8 applicants. The shooting mentioned here is not with a gun, but with a crossbow. Because guns are forbidden among the people, everyone can only use crossbows as weapons. Hello, can my sister and I not participate in this test? Because we have weapons, we don't need these crossbows, Shen Vengong asked. The young woman looked at Mei Wenhua sitting on the steps and asked for his opinion. Mei Wenhua nodded lightly, indicating his agreement. All right then, the 2 of you can skip the second round of testing, the young woman said. The others had no objections, anyway, they were not competitors, so it didn't matter. The requirements for the second round were not difficult. Each person had 5 arrows, and as long as one arrow hit the bullseye, it was considered qualified. In the end, only one person was eliminated. The third round did not involve any further testing but instead, a document was produced. The young woman distributed the document to each person and said, "This is the final test. What you have in your hands is a letter of commitment. Here, I need to remind everyone, once the letter of commitment is signed, it means that you fully understand the risks of this mission and are voluntarily participating. Of course, you can choose to sign or not, that is your right. I will give you 10 minutes to consider." Shen Vengong carefully looked through the contents of the letter of commitment, which was nothing more than an agreement on some disclaimers in the event of various accidents. In short, it meant that they did not want to take responsibility. After reading it, Shen Vengong picked up a pen and signed his name, Tian Gang. Luo Er also followed her brother's example and signed her name, Qun Luo. The young woman glanced at the document and didn't look closely. Perhaps in her eyes, whether these people had names or not had nothing to do with her. Who would care if they really died outside, who would investigate? Among the 7 people, 2 refused to sign such a hegemonic clause and left angrily. In the end, the number of people performing the mission was only 5. Early the next morning, the 5 people sat in 2 jeeps and arrived in the suburbs of Mizhu City. The weather was bad today, with a light drizzle. The temperature in December was already very low, and walking on the road covered with fallen leaves felt very damp and cold. Shen Vengong and Luo Er were fine, they had the protection of combat suits, and their movements were natural. The other 3 people were not so good, walking forward carefully while their teeth chattered from the cold. Luo Er glanced at the 3 of them, but said nothing. Before they set off, the young woman provided each person with a map of Mizhu and marked the possible locations of the 4 targets. She promised that if they could not find anyone in several locations, then the mission would be considered complete, and they could return. "Hey, brother, where should we go first?" a man asked Shen Vengong. "Let's go in order, go around in a circle, and then come back here," Shen Vengong said, taking out the map. "Isn't that too slow?" the man questioned. Chapter 47. Isn't this too slow? The man questioned. "It is a bit slow, but it's more reliable," Shen Vengong explained. "How about this? There are 6 places in total. We each go to one, and we all go to the last one together," the man suggested. Shen Vengong frowned, thinking. This is just nonsense. If we split up, what if we encounter zombies? How about this, brothers? The 3 of us will go to these 3 places in the west, and you 2 go to those 2 places in the east. Then, we'll meet at the destination closest to us, investigate, and return together. What do you think? Without waiting for Shen Vengong to reply, the man continued. Hey, what's wrong with you? Do you have a death wish? Luo Er said angrily. Shen Vengong pulled his sister back and replied. All right. Let's do it that way. After speaking, he pulled his sister and set off. Brother, that guy is so annoying, acting like we're going to be a burden to them, Luo Er complained as they walked. Forget it. You can't talk sense into someone who's determined to die. It's better to split up, so they don't drag us down later, Shen Vengong said. The traffic in the city was severely congested, and the 2 moved very slowly. It took them 3 hours to reach the first target location. This was a large supermarket, and the glass at the entrance was completely shattered. From the scene, it was clear that this place had been looted many times before. Brother, should we go in? Luo Er asked. We have to go in. Luo Er, get your weapon ready, Shen Vengong said, taking the long object from his back, removing the cloth wrapped around it, revealing a Type 1 Guardian laser gun. Luo Er also took out her gun. The 2 raised their guns, crouched down, and slowly walked into the supermarket. They turned on the night vision function of their digital eye implants and searched the supermarket, but found nothing. Strange. Brother, why aren't there any zombies in here? Luo Er asked, puzzled. I don't know either. Let's go, let's get out of here. We'll go to the next place, Shen Vengong said. Walking on the road, Luo Er asked. Brother, do you think it's possible that there are no zombies in Mizhu City at all? How is that possible? If there were no zombies, why would people evacuate? Shen Vengong replied. That's true, then it's strange, Luo Er thought, unable to understand. The other target location wasn't far away, and the 2 arrived in half an hour. It was already around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was barely raining anymore. The 2 found a corner, took off their hoods in turns, ate some food, and drank some water. The two dogs squatted quietly in two different directions, observing. The layout of the supermarket was similar to the previous place. The same signs, the same brands, and a similar layout inside. Stepping into the supermarket entrance, looking around, it was empty, not even a shelf. This isn't normal. Luo, be careful, there's something strange here, Shen Vengong warned. Okay. Luo responded. The two proceeded step by step, cautiously and slowly. Bang! With a loud noise, an iron gate suddenly fell at the entrance, blocking the door. Not good. An ambush. Shen Vengong shouted. The two quickly ran towards the exit. The iron gate was welded together with very thick twisted steel, very heavy and very strong, and it seemed to be held in place by latches at the top. The two tried hard to lift it up, but couldn't. Just as they were anxiously trying to figure out a solution, a strange zombie roar came from inside. Eliminate the zombies first. Shen Vengong said to Luo. They quickly raised their guns and aimed inside. Oh my god! The back of their necks felt cold. Looking ahead, it was densely packed with zombies. Under the night vision effect, each zombie's eyes glowed green. Walking in the front was a taller and stronger zombie, which seemed to be the leader here. A second-tier zombie. Shen Vengong's first reaction. Because first-tier zombies have no intelligence at all. Under the maintenance of the crystal core energy, the brain nerves and the virus combine to form a very low-level biocurrent. In this way, zombies have the most primitive biological reaction, the instinct to prey. So zombies exhibit the characteristic of devouring. Symbiosis is a very common phenomenon in the biological world. For example, hundreds of kinds of bacteria coexist in our human body. They live in harmony with humans and depend on each other. Compared with first-tier zombies, the energy purity of the crystal core of second-tier zombies is doubled, and the biocurrent is stronger. Under this stimulation, zombies have a more advanced biological reaction, territorial awareness. They begin to have fixed strongholds and will not leave easily. And attack any enemies who dare to invade the territory. At the same time, their skin begins to show callousing. According to the degree of callousing, second-tier zombies can be roughly divided into initial, mid, and late stages. The skin callousing degree of second-tier zombies in the early stage is relatively low, while the skin callousing degree of second-tier zombies in the late stage is already very high. This is also a simple way to distinguish second-tier zombies. Standing in front of them right now was obviously a late-stage second-tier zombie. Its skin surface was covered with thick calluses, causing its body to bulge out a large circle, making it look exceptionally strong. Laser guns cannot easily harm second-tier zombies, so Shen Vengong simply didn't try. Chapter 48. Luo, eliminate the level 1 zombies first, Shen Vengong shouted. The two constantly changed positions, eliminating the approaching level 1 zombies one by one in their movements. Meanwhile, the level 2 zombie slowly followed from a slightly farther distance, seemingly not in a hurry to attack. When the two began to attack, the two mechanical dogs also pounced forward. However, the zombies neither dodged nor attacked them. The most likely reason was that the mechanical dogs did not possess the aura of life. Therefore, the mechanical dogs entered the zombie horde as if entering a land devoid of people. Each energy bar of the Guardian Eye laser gun could only fire a maximum of 60 shots, and the energy was quickly depleted. There were too many zombies, and they were too close, so they didn't have time to replace the energy bars. They could only take out the daggers strapped to their legs and begin hand-to-hand combat. Big brother, why is it taking so long? Hasn't it ended inside yet? One of the men hiding in the shadows outside asked. The leading man didn't answer, frowning as he continued to listen to the movements inside. They were the three people who had come to Mazhu with Shen Vengong and Luo to carry out the recruitment mission. The scene returns to the interior of the supermarket. Although the two weren't afraid of being bitten by zombies, there were simply too many. Before long, they were already physically exhausted. Suddenly, the leading level 2 zombie moved. It was incredibly fast, heading straight for Shen Vengong. Luo saw this scene, and before she could even remind him, he was sent flying by a punch. Brother! Luo shouted loudly, but she was unable to split herself due to the constant entanglement of the zombies. Shen Vengong was caught off guard by the sudden attack, and his chest churned violently. He could only kneel there, clutching his chest and gasping for breath. Soon, the zombies surrounded him again. Luo became anxious and shouted, throwing her dagger directly. A miraculous scene appeared. The dagger she threw didn't fall to the ground but flew back and forth in the air. After piercing through the head of one zombie, it returned and pierced through the head of another. That's right, this was Luo Yi'er's mutated ability, mental control. However, due to a lack of training, and because everyone doted on her, her mastery of this ability was only so-so. This enraged the level 2 zombie. It let out a loud roar, and all the zombies swarmed towards Luo Yi'er. Seeing this scene, Shen Vengong became extremely anxious. Ignoring his pain, he stood up and quickly chased after her. Seeing that Luo Yi'er was about to be squeezed in the middle and unable to move, Shen Vengong, in desperation, activated the tag. 100,000 nanobots, invisible to the naked eye, surged out of his body, heading straight for the zombies. Luo Yi'er, activate the tag! Shen Vengong shouted. Soon, the zombies began to become chaotic. They no longer besieged Luo Yi'er but fled in all directions, flailing their arms and legs and screaming loudly. Slowly, they collapsed to the ground and stopped moving. Both of them breathed a sigh of relief. Luo Yi'er quickly ran towards her brother, and the two mechanical dogs returned to their side after all the zombies had fallen. Now, only the level 2 zombie standing at the back remained. It was furious, roaring fiercely. The two dogs also bared their ferocious fangs, bravely guarding their master. Luo Yi'er, can you still hold on? Shen Vengong asked. Yes. Luo Yi'er nodded. Okay. Next, I'll use the laser gun to attract its attention, and you'll use mental control to attack the joints of its legs with the dagger, Shen Vengong instructed while replacing the laser gun's magazine. Okay. Luo Yi'er readily agreed. Okay. Listen to my command, ready, begin. Shen Vengong gave the order and fired the first shot. Luo Yi'er reached out her hand, controlling the dagger to fly towards the level 2 zombie's joints. The skin of the joints was also very tough, and the dagger pierced several times in a row without breaking through. Luo Yi'er was already covered in sweat. This couldn't continue. Shen Vengong decisively aimed the laser gun at the knee joint, switching to burst mode. The high temperature caused by the continuous laser bombardment greatly weakened the hardness of the joint skin. Luo Yi'er also understood her brother's intention and, when the joint began to turn red, struck decisively. The dagger successfully pierced through the zombie's joint. With a cracking sound, the leg joint fractured, and the zombie lost its balance and crashed to the ground. At this moment, Luo Yi'er had no strength left and fainted to the ground. Shen Vengong quickly stepped forward, grabbed the dagger, and repeatedly attacked the same spot on the zombie's head. He didn't know how many times he stabbed, but finally, the zombie's scalp was pierced. His strength was also getting weaker and weaker, but he kept stabbing down. The zombie no longer struggled, and the entire supermarket finally fell silent. Shen Vengong gradually lost strength, collapsing on the zombie and falling asleep. Big brother, there's no sound. One of the men outside said. Shut up. The man called scolded, then pressed his ear against the wall and continued to eavesdrop. After repeatedly confirming that there was indeed no sound, the three men cautiously walked to the door, pressed the button, and opened the closed iron gate. They naturally didn't dare to go in, only observing from the doorway. After waiting for a long time without any special circumstances occurring, they turned and left. Mizhu City, Sui Yang Resettlement. Big brother, the matter has been taken care of, said the leading man who had rushed back from the Mizhu City area. Yes, you did a good job. Go and collect your reward. Mei Wenhua said faintly, taking a sip of tea. Thank you, big brother. The man thanked him with a bow and left. President Mei, what next? The young woman standing beside him asked. Let's wait for now. According to the Divine Envoy, Nanner is likely to advance to level 3. At this time, we must be more cautious and should not bring people over in the short term, Mei Wenhua said. Yes. The woman replied. Chapter 49. Commander Tian Gang and Qun Luo encountered a Tier 2 zombie in Mizhu City, Xiaolin reported. What's the situation now? Dongfang Chen asked. The Tier 2 zombie is dead. The two of them are unconscious, Xiaolin replied. Tier 2 zombies possess territorial awareness, so other zombies shouldn't rashly enter its territory. They should be relatively safe inside. Remotely send instructions to the mechanical dogs to closely protect their safety, Dongfang Chen said. Yes, Commander. Are there any other people nearby? Dongfang Chen asked. The closest are Niu Xingwang, who just arrived at the Milan settlement, and Yun Ke from the Huailing settlement, Xiaolin replied. Looks like there's no way to send reinforcements to them. They can only rely on themselves. I should have hardened my heart and trained Luo properly before, otherwise this situation wouldn't have happened today. Dongfang Chen thought. Xiaolin, how is the construction of the safe houses going? Dongfang Chen asked. The so-called safe houses were secret entrances used to connect with the outside world after the base's main entrance was destroyed. The first batch of safe houses totaled 12. For safety, their locations were set relatively far away, scattered in several abandoned courtyards in the suburbs of Binzhou City. If a safe house was exposed later, it would be immediately destroyed. At the same time, an underground passage directly connected to the base would be set up below each safe house. Tracks were set up in the passage, similar to a horizontal elevator, which could transport goods and people. The safe house closest to us has been completed, the passage has been opened, and the second one is under construction, Xiaolin reported. Okay, share the location with Feng Hua and Niu Xingwang. Tell them that all future transactions will be conducted there. Yes, Commander. Hua Country, Kyoto, Parliament Building. December 15, 2054, morning. Counselor Yan, is your information reliable? A man in his 60s asked. Speaker, it's absolutely true. As you know, someone provided us with complete information about the virus when the pandemic broke out. That's right. The speaker replied. The person who revealed that information is the same person. Yan Zhengping replied. The speaker nodded and asked everyone. What does everyone think? I have a question. A woman in her 50s spoke up. Oh? Counselor Hu, please speak, Yan Zhengping said politely. Counselor Hu Qingying served as the Minister of Health, and the Emergency Response Department also fell under her jurisdiction. How can you prove that the source of the information is the same as last time? Hu Qingying asked. I'm sorry, I can't prove it. But similarly, I can't prove that the source of the information is different, Yan Zhengping replied. Then, if that's the case, why is it that everyone else didn't receive the message this time, and only you did? He Jinghui, the Minister of Security, immediately followed up. Then you'll have to ask the person who sent the message himself. Counselor Yan replied impolitely. The scene fell silent for a moment. All right. Since the person who sent the message has a way to evade our investigation, there's no practical point in discussing this issue further. Let's return to the previous topic. Lao Jing, what do you say? The speaker said. Lao Jing, Jing Cheng, a member of parliament and the current Minister of Culture, is a materials science expert. The substance red oxygen does exist, but it's not stable. Moreover, the environment outside the atmosphere is affected by radiation, and the situation is complex and volatile. As for whether it can form such a stable icosahedral structure, I can't judge at the moment. I can only say that it's logically plausible, Jing Cheng replied. In that case, immediately order the science department to establish a task force to conduct research on this topic after you return, the speaker said. Okay, Jing Cheng replied. Counselor Yan, since we can't determine the authenticity of the information at the moment, what suggestions do you have? The speaker turned to Yan Zhengping and asked. Personally, I believe it's better to be safe than sorry. The collapse of the entire ecosystem will have a fatal impact on us humans. I propose that we immediately discuss and formulate an emergency plan to cope with potential future risks, Yan Zhengping replied. Okay, does anyone have different opinions? The speaker asked. No one answered. Since everyone has no different opinions, let's begin the vote. Those who agree to formulate an emergency plan, please raise your hands, the speaker announced. The councillors raised their hands one after another. Okay, 17 votes in favor. In that case, tomorrow we will move on to the next item on the agenda, discussing the emergency plan. Meeting adjourned. The speaker said. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Milan Settlement. Boss Niu, I didn't lie to you, right? Milan is a treasure trove. Since the Warring States period, this place has been a strategic location for military strategists. Look at these tall walls, rows of houses, that's definitely the best condition in the settlement. Mayor Gong and Niu Xingwang walked down the street, talking as they walked. Of course, following Mayor Gong is definitely the right choice. Boss Niu flattered. By the way, how is your Chamber of Commerce being prepared? Mayor Gong cut to the chase. Still in preparation, Niu Xingwang said awkwardly. Have you encountered any problems? Mayor Gong asked suspiciously. Chapter 50. Things are different now compared to peacetime, there aren't so many rules and regulations. Forming a Chamber of Commerce doesn't require submitting paperwork or waiting for approval. As long as you have a place and manpower, can't you just start it up? Why are you still preparing? Mayor Gong wasn't concerned about other things, but he was extremely anxious about the grain. He was worried about those 10,000 caddies of grain. Mayor Gong, there aren't any major problems, just a lack of manpower, Niu Xingwang said awkwardly. Is that so? That's easy to solve. I'll have Secretary Lu arrange a special recruitment fair for you in a little while, how about that? Mayor Gong suggested. Mayor Gong, forget about the recruitment. As you know, it's very dangerous outside now, ordinary people going out are just offering themselves up as fodder. If possible, could you arrange for some veterans or something? I don't need too many, 100 people is enough, Niu Xingwang revealed his purpose. Is that so? That's fine. Then I'll have Secretary Lu issue an announcement and let you personally interview them, Mayor Gong readily agreed. He was anxious. Only with surplus grain at home could he feel at ease. Then I'm very grateful to Mayor Gong. Rest assured, as long as I have enough manpower, I'll immediately arrange for people to transport the grain over. Niu Xingwang guaranteed. Boss Niu, then I'll await your good news, Mayor Gong said with a meaningful smile. The meaning was, I've met your request, if there's no grain, you'll be in trouble. Rest assured. Boss Niu smiled foolishly, as if he didn't understand. Not long after the two separated, Secretary Lu came to find him. After agreeing on some details, he hurriedly left. Secretary Lu was very efficient. By 2 o'clock in the afternoon, many people had gathered in the square. What's your name? Cao Yinghua. Age? 38. Were you in the military? Yes. Okay, go fill out the form. Next. Boss Niu's interview efficiency was also very high. As long as they had been in the military, were under 42 years old, and weren't disabled, they were considered to have passed. So, 100 people were quickly recruited. Inside the Binjiang City underground base. Hello, Brother Niu. Dongfang Chen was in the office when he saw Niu Xingwang calling and answered it. Mr. Dongfang, I've recruited 100 veterans here, what's next? Our first safe house has been completed, and the location has been shared with you. You can take the people directly there to pick up the goods, Dongfang Chen said. Okay, Mr. Dongfang, Niu Xingwang replied. By the way, Brother Niu, the current inventory of antigens is 75. Allocating 60% to you only amounts to 45. From these 100 people, pick some trustworthy ones, but don't exceed this number. After arriving at the safe house, inject them all. Ah? Wouldn't that be too wasteful? Niu Xingwang asked incredulously. It's not wasteful, with people, there are resources, we have to speed things up. But don't tell them it's an antigen, just make up a reason. Dongfang Chen said. Okay, I understand. Niu Xingwang hung up the phone and returned to the square. The 100 newly recruited people formed a queue, standing in 5 rows. Although their clothes were dirty, their posture was straight, and you could tell they had a foundation. Hello everyone, welcome to join the Huitong Chamber of Commerce. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Niu Xingwang, I was previously the boss of Dingzhen Real Estate in Binzhou City. I'm sure many of you have heard of me, so I won't say more. Looking at the disheveled crowd, Niu Xingwang continued. Listen to my command, all of you stand in a line. The 100 people on the scene quickly took action, forming a long straight line. Very good. Next, everyone listen carefully to my questions. If you meet the conditions, take a step forward. If you don't meet the conditions, stay where you are. Did everyone hear clearly? Niu Xingwang shouted loudly. Yes. Everyone shouted in unison. Okay. First question. Anyone whose parents are in Milan, take a step forward. Niu Xingwang shouted. Everyone hesitated for a moment, and then almost 50 people stepped forward. Anyone whose children are in Milan, take a step forward. Niu Xingwang continued to shout. Of the 50-plus people in front, another 40-plus people stepped forward, and of the 40-plus people in the back, a dozen or so stepped forward. At this time, the queue had become 3 rows, the first row had 40-plus people, the second row had 20-plus people, and the last row had 30-plus people. Okay, the 43 people in the first row form Group 1, and the people in the second and third rows form Group 2. Divide into 2 groups and reorganize the formation. Everyone divided into 2 squares and stood again. You over here are Group 1, serving as the Field Operations Group. You over here are Group 2, serving as the Internal Affairs Group, Niu Xingwang said, walking to the 2 groups respectively. That's not right, Boss Niu, did you get it backwards? Secretary Lu, who had been standing next to him without speaking, reminded him. Oh? Secretary Lu, what's backwards? Niu Xingwang asked. Shouldn't those with parents and children be in the Internal Affairs Group? Why are they in the Field Operations Group? Secretary Lu said. Secretary Lu, I don't quite understand what you're saying, Niu Xingwang said, pretending not to know. Look, those who have parents and children to take care of should stay at home. Those with fewer parents and children are more suitable for field operations, Secretary Lu explained. Chapter 51. Mr. Lu, you are too kind. Whether we have elderly or children at home, everyone is the same. We can't discriminate like that, Niu Xingwang said righteously. Then why are you doing this? Secretary Lu was confused. No special intention, it's just easier to manage this way, Niu Xingwang smiled slightly. All right, whatever makes you happy, Secretary Lu said no more. In reality, Niu Xingwang wanted to use this method to eliminate any potential spies. After all, there were too many people, all unfamiliar faces, and time was of the essence. It was unrealistic to conduct background checks one by one. He simply put himself in their shoes. Those with elderly or children at home would definitely have more concerns, making them a safer bet. And Secretary Liu's question conveniently gave him the answer. The spy was most likely in the Internal Affairs Group. Because if Secretary Liu had planted someone, he would definitely want them in the External Affairs Group, so they could gather more intelligence. Everyone, go back and prepare today. Gather at the Chamber of Commerce early tomorrow morning. All right, dismissed, Niu Xingwang said. Mayor Gong's office. Mayor Gong, I'm sorry, I didn't handle things well, Secretary Liu said. What? You didn't get anyone placed? Mayor Gong asked. I did. However, except for CAO Yinghua, everyone else was assigned to the Internal Affairs Group, Secretary Liu said. Internal Affairs Group? What does that mean? Niu Xingwang is indeed resourceful. He divided the 100 newly recruited people into internal and external affairs groups. The Internal Affairs Group is responsible for matters within the city, while the External Affairs Group is responsible for tasks outside the city, Secretary Liu explained. So, most of our people won't have the chance to access their material storage points. I'm afraid so, Secretary Liu replied awkwardly. This Niu Xingwang is really cunning. Mayor Gong said thoughtfully. Secretary Liu didn't respond. All right, tell CAO Yinghua to be careful and cautious, and not to expose himself unless absolutely necessary. Also, tell the others to try and gather information if they have the chance. Even if they don't find anything useful, it will serve as a smokescreen, so they can be a bit bolder. Spend some resources if necessary, Mayor Gong instructed. Understood, Secretary Liu replied. Inside Mo Prefecture City. It was already late at night when Shen Vengong was the first to wake up from his unconsciousness. He was still holding the dagger he used to kill the zombie during the day. The zombie was still lying beneath him. He suddenly realized something and hurriedly got up, running towards Luo Er beside him. Luo Er was still unconscious. Shen Vengong took off her hood, wiped the knife clean, and held it to her nostrils. There was fog on the knife, indicating that Luo Er was still breathing. That's good. Shen Vengong thought. With the protection of the protective suit, Luo Er definitely wouldn't be injured. It must be that she overused her mental power, leading to weakness. The 2 dogs beside them were watching quietly, presumably protecting them all along. Go, collect all the crystal cores, decompose as many as you can, and put the rest together. Don't decompose the Tier 2 zombies' crystal core yet, Shen Vengong ordered the 2 dogs to get to work. The mechanical dog's claws were specially treated and were very sharp. So, collecting crystal cores was not difficult for them. There were hundreds of Tier 1 zombies at the scene, and it took the two dogs an entire night to collect them all. After deducting the dogs' decomposition and consumption, there were 420 Tier 1 crystal cores and 1 Tier 2 crystal core left. Shen Vengong fully charged the laser gun's energy clip and tag, and Luo Er finally woke up from her slumber. By this time, it was already dawn. Luo Er, you're awake? Shen Vengong asked. Brother, are you all right? Luo Er asked. I'm fine, Shen Vengong replied with a smile, even turning around. Is that Tier 2 zombie dead? Luo Er asked. Yeah, it's dead. I've collected all the crystal cores, Shen Vengong replied. Luo Er nodded, relieved. The two rested for a while longer, ate something, and started heading back. Brother, what do you think happened to the other three? Luo Er asked curiously as they walked. I don't know, maybe they're dead, or maybe they didn't see us leaving early, Shen Vengong said. Even now, they didn't realize that being locked inside yesterday was the work of the other three. Then who do you think locked us inside? Luo Er asked again. I don't know, Shen Vengong shook his head. Then why was the door open when we woke up in the morning? Luo Er continued to ask. I don't know, Shen Vengong still shook his head. This was what they couldn't understand the most. If someone deliberately wanted to harm them, why did they open the door in the end? Since they opened the door, why didn't they kill them while they were unconscious? Were they afraid of the two dogs? What they didn't know was that the other three knew there were zombies inside and didn't dare to go in at all. As for the possibility that the siblings killed all the zombies? Don't be ridiculous, they wouldn't believe it even if they died. They would rather believe that the zombies killed the two of them and then calmed down. Hey, brother, our car is gone, Luo Er said after returning to the starting point. They probably drove it back, Shen Vengong replied. They're so annoying. Couldn't they just take one car? Why did they have to take both cars? Luo Er stomped her feet in anger. They finally walked all the way back, and now there was no car. They probably thought we were dead. Let's go see if we can find another car. With that, Shen Vengong pulled Luo Er to look for a car. Chapter 52. Wow! Awesome! Luo Er shouted. Shen Vengong rode his motorcycle, taking Luo Er, speeding along the road. Two dogs followed behind, running frantically. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Suiyang Resettlement Area. Manager Mei, something bad happened. A young woman rushed in, saying in panic. Look at you, you've been with me for so long, and you're still so scatterbrained, Mei Wenhua scolded. I'm sorry, Manager Mei. The woman hurriedly calmed down and apologized. What happened? Mei Wenhua asked. Those two people are back, the young woman reported. Which two people? Mei Wenhua didn't understand. The two people who were sent to young Master Mei yesterday, the young woman said. What? Mei Wenhua suddenly stood up, bumping into the table, causing the teacup on the table to fall to the ground and shatter into pieces. Those two people didn't die. Why didn't they die? If they didn't die, what about Nanner? Could something have happened to him? No, it can't be. Nanner is already at Tier 2, no one can hurt him. Mei Wenhua thought of many problems in an instant. Go, call Ma Yuki over here for me. At this moment, Mei Wenhua's calm and composed demeanor disappeared without a trace. Okay, Manager Mei. The young woman quickly left. In the front yard, Ma Yuki, who had rushed over in a panic, happened to run into Shen Vengong and Luo Er. Hey, it's you. Luo Er saw that the person was the man who suggested splitting up yesterday. The man was also stunned when he saw them, thinking. How come these two people didn't die? But then he thought, what if they didn't die? They don't know that I was playing tricks behind their backs, so he pretended and asked. You guys didn't die? Yesterday, the three of us waited until the sun was almost setting, but we didn't see you come back. We thought something had happened to you. What are you saying? You're the one who's dead. I'm asking you, why did you drive both cars away when you left? Couldn't you leave one for us? Luo Er asked angrily. Great. It seems that the two of them really don't suspect me. Ma Yuki thought, and then relaxed, saying. Sorry. It was my oversight. You also know that there are fewer and fewer vehicles that can be driven now. I didn't know if you would come back, so I drove the car back first. If we didn't come back, where could we go? You. Luo wanted to continue scolding him, but Shen Vengong stopped her. Alright, Luo, now that we're back, let's not talk about this anymore, Shen Vengong said, then turned to look at Ma Yuki and asked. Then what are you here for today? Oh, Manager Mei is looking for me. Oh no, I have something to discuss with Manager Mei, the man explained. After speaking, he walked towards the inner courtyard. Hey, don't you know the concept of first come, first served? Luo shouted loudly, dissatisfied. Ma Yuki seemed not to have heard her shout and quickly went inside. Shen Vengong frowned, feeling that things were not simple. In his opinion, everyone came to apply together, so how could this person seem so familiar with the place? Could it be that this person and no culture are in cahoots? If that's the case, wouldn't I have been tricked? No. Something's not right. The more Shen Vengong thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong, so he signaled his dog to sneak into the backyard to take a look. The mechanical dog is also equipped with a bug, which can be connected to the bone mic. Shen Vengong switched the bone mic to listening mode through the digital eye and listened quietly. Brother. Luo was about to ask when she saw this, but Shen Vengong interrupted her, signaling her not to speak. Big brother, what's going on? Ma Yuki asked as soon as he entered the door. Mei Wenhua was still angry, and became even angrier when he heard him ask, scolding. You're asking me what's going on? I want to ask you. Didn't you say that things were taken care of? How did they come back alive? Big brother, it's absolutely true. At that time, I listened at the door for a long time, and there was no movement at all before I came back, Ma Yuki explained. So you didn't see anyone at all at that time? Mei Wenhua found a loophole. Big brother, how dare I go in? At that time, I thought, if the two of them were still alive, there couldn't be no movement inside. Ma Yuki continued to explain. Did you see them go in with your own eyes? Mei Wenhua suspected that they didn't go there at all. Big brother, I didn't see it with my own eyes. But I dare to guarantee with my head that someone did go in. The fighting inside was very fierce, and it lasted for about half an hour. The other two people heard it too, Ma Yuki said confidently. That's not good. Something must have happened to Nanner. If the two of them did go in and experienced a battle, then it would definitely be a situation where one side would not give up until one of them died. Since these two people didn't die, then his Nanner might be dead. Big brother, it can't be. There are at least 400 zombies inside, they can't do it with just the two of them, right? Ma Yuki thought it was impossible. Take a few more people over there again and go in to take a look. Mei Wenhua ordered. Big brother, this. I don't dare. Ma Yuki chickened out. There were zombies everywhere inside, how could he dare to go in and take a look? Chapter 53. Calling you stupid is an understatement. Can't you find a couple of greenhorns to go in? Ignorance is bliss, understand? Mei Wenhua scolded. Greenhorns are newbies who don't know anything. Ma Yuki's eyes lit up immediately. That's right, find two people who don't know the situation, and fool them into going in to take a look, why should I go myself? So he said. Brother, you are so clever. I'll go right away. What about those two in the front yard? I'll try to stall them, you go and come back quickly. Mei Wenhua said. Okay, brother, I'll go right away. Ma Yuki said and hurried away. Hearing this, Shen Vengong understood that this was all a trap set by no culture. They were treating his sister and him as chickens, sending them to feed the zombies. Black-hearted. Utterly devoid of conscience and humanity. What should we do now? Running is definitely not an option, that would be an admission of guilt. It seems we can only play along. Shen Vengong frowned, thought for a while, and then said. Luo, come here. Brother, what's wrong? Luo asked. I'll tell you. Shen Vengong leaned close to Luo's ear and whispered. Ah? Brother, why do we have to do this? Luo asked, puzzled after listening. Just listen to me, I'll explain to you when I have the chance, Shen Vengong said. Luo nodded in agreement. Luo is good in this way, although she is a bit willful, she listens to her brother. Soon Ma Yuki came out, didn't bother to say a few more words, and hurried away. At this time, the young woman came over and invited the two into the inner courtyard. Yo, yo, yo. You two have worked hard, come, please sit down. Mei Wenhua appeared very enthusiastic. President Mei, I have something to tell you. The three people who set off with us yesterday drove all the vehicles away without meeting us. We need an explanation for this. Shen Vengong said unhappily. What's your name, brother? Mei Wenhua asked. Tian Gang. Shen Vengong replied simply. Tian Gang? What kind of name is that? A nickname, right? Mei Wenhua frowned, but didn't care, and continued. Brother Tian Gang, you're right. I'll punish them later by deducting half of their commission, what do you think? Mei Wenhua agreed. They almost killed us, and you're just deducting a little commission. Luo Er said dissatisfied. Mei Wenhua pretended to be very embarrassed and continued to explain. You also know that they are all poor people. After all, they completed the task, I can't just give them no money, right? Humph. Luo Er pouted and stopped talking. Then let's do that. Shen Vengong knew the inside story, so he didn't dwell on this matter, and continued. President Mei, I'm sorry, our task is not considered complete, so just pay half of the commission. When can we settle it? Shen Vengong asked. Oh? Brother Tian Gang, what do you mean by this? Mei Wenhua expressed some surprise. To be honest, my sister and I only explored 2 places. We didn't find anything in the first place, but when we rushed to the second place, we found that it had experienced a large-scale battle. The scene was a mess, and the ground was full of zombie corpses, presumably thanks to the other 3. Although my sister and I are poor, we are not so shameless as to take advantage of this. Shen Vengong explained. What? Are you saying that inside are corpses? Mei Wenhua was shocked. Shen Vengong couldn't hide this point, because after Ma Yuki rushed back from Mizhu, everything would inevitably be impossible to hide. At the same time, he had greeted Luo Er in advance, so Luo Er didn't say anything at this moment. That's right, President Mei. Judging from the scene, there were no less than 300 or 400 zombie corpses. With just my sister and me, let alone 300 or 400, even 30 or 40 would be too much for us to handle. Presumably this is President Mei's arrangement, we are ashamed to accept it, Shen Vengong said. Mei Wenhua didn't speak, and kept frowning. However, President Mei, there is something I don't know if I should say, Shen Vengong continued. Please speak, Mei Wenhua replied. Since President Mei has such a team that can eliminate hundreds of zombies at once, why do you still need to recruit us to explore the situation in Mizhu? Isn't this redundant? Shen Vengong asked the question. Asking such a question was also to further release a smokescreen in order to get rid of his suspicion. Ah, this, haha. Brother Tian Gang is overthinking it, how could I have such a team, don't think too much. Mei Wenhua explained with a smile, but his brows were still furrowed. He is very annoyed now. If it is true as Tian Gang in front of him said, there are 300 or 400 zombie corpses at the scene, then his nana is probably in mortal danger. Moreover, he really doesn't believe that these 2 people in front of him can eliminate hundreds of zombies and come back unscathed. These are zombies, even a slight injury will lead to infection. If zombies were really so easy to eliminate, how could his nana be infected and only be able to watch himself turn into a zombie step by step? But if it wasn't them, then who could it be? His statement is somewhat different from Ma Yuki's, but it's not completely inconsistent. Could it be that there are other forces in Mizhu City? Chapter 54. Mr. Mei. Shen Vengong called out, seeing Mei Wenhua's silence. Ah? Brother Tian Gang, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well today. Let's chat later. I've already asked the kitchen to prepare something for you too. Please go and have something to eat first, Mei Wenhua said, then winked at the young woman beside him. Before the young woman could speak, Shen Vengong continued, Mr. Mei, there's no need for the meal. Since you're not feeling well, please rest. We have other matters to attend to and will leave directly after receiving the commission, Shen Vengong said. No matter what, it won't take long to have a meal. Besides, the commissions are all in kind, and it will take some time to allocate them. You two should go and eat first, I won't accompany you, Mei Wenhua said, then stood up and left, no longer engaging with him. This way, please, the young woman quickly walked over and said. Shen Vengong didn't say anything more, stood up, and followed the young woman toward the kitchen. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Milan Resettlement. The 100 people recruited yesterday have all assembled. Niu Xingwang selected some literate and numerate individuals from the internal affairs group and assigned them tasks such as cashier, statistics, and warehouse management. The remaining people were responsible for escorting and security. The people in the external affairs group were mainly responsible for the transportation and security of supplies outside the city. With everything arranged, Niu Xingwang took the external affairs group to the command post to register with team leader Liao. Team leader Liao received a message from Mayor Gong and also allocated a large truck to Niu Xingwang. 10,000 caddies of grain is only 5,000 kilograms, and one truck is enough. With all preparations complete, Niu Xingwang led the team out in a mighty manner. The highway was sparsely populated, and after the virus outbreak, there were even fewer vehicles on the road. Therefore, there were hardly any instances of abandoned vehicles blocking the road on the highway. It has now become one of the main ways to travel between cities. It's only about 80 kilometers from Milan town to Binzhou city. Although the highway is now covered with fallen leaves, affecting the speed, it still only took about 2 hours to arrive. In an abandoned courtyard in the suburbs of Binjiang city, the truck stopped, and more than 40 people jumped out of the truck bed one after another, filling the yard. Everyone, line up in the yard and wait. Do not move around without orders, Niu Xingwang said. Yes. Everyone replied in unison. After speaking, Niu Xingwang walked towards the house. Mr. Dongfang, you're here too. Niu Xingwang asked happily, seeing Dongfang Chen sitting inside. Just came out for a stroll. Here are 10,000 caddies of flour that were just transported, a total of 200 bags. Also brought some potatoes and cabbage, also about 10,000 caddies. These are 2 pigs, which had to be slaughtered and sealed to prevent mosquito bites, Dongfang Chen said with a smile. So much? Niu Xingwang said. It's not much. There are few people in the base now, and we can't eat that much. It's just sitting there anyway, Dongfang Chen said. Niu Xingwang nodded. Also, these 2 boxes are antigen tests. You must personally supervise them later and make sure everyone gets tested. The discarded needles must be collected to prevent anyone from hiding them, Dongfang Chen reminded. Okay, Niu Xingwang nodded in agreement. These are 100 sets of combat uniforms and camouflage uniforms. Distribute them as well. Wear them when going out on missions. Okay. Mr. Dongfang, you are really too good to them, Niu Xingwang said with emotion. Alright, that's it then. I'll go back first, Dongfang Chen said, walking behind a cabinet in the inner room. The cabinet door closed automatically. After Dongfang Chen left, Niu Xingwang moved the antigen tests to the yard and said. Cao Yinghua, go and close the gate. Cao Yinghua quickly ran towards the gate. After the gate was closed, he returned to the line. Everyone listen up, this place is where I store supplies, and it's crucial to me. In order to prevent information from leaking, I have to make some preparations in advance. There is some medicine in these 2 boxes, 1 injection for each person, it must be done. After the injections, we will start working, Niu Xingwang said. The crowd was uneasy after hearing this. Boss Niu, what kind of medicine is this? Someone asked. Don't worry, it's just some antibiotics, it won't kill anyone. Cao Yinghua, come over, take the medicine and give everyone an injection. After the injections, put all the discarded needles back in the box, Boss Niu ordered. Cao Yinghua hesitated for a moment, but still stepped forward and opened the box. Although everyone was very reluctant, they reluctantly stretched out their arms when they saw others getting the injection. Soon, everyone had been injected. Niu Xingwang checked the number of needles and then continued. I hope everyone understands. I am also forced to do this. The things here are related to my life and fortune, and I have no choice. Boss Niu, don't scare us. A man shouted. Don't worry, it's okay. 1 month, as long as nothing happens to my warehouse within 1 month, then naturally you'll be good, I'll be good, and everyone will be good. Niu Xingwang didn't say much on this topic, fearing it would provoke public anger. Then he distributed the clothes to everyone. After changing clothes, the whole team's spirit was completely renewed. Niu Xingwang raised a series of precautions regarding clothing before starting to move things out. With so many people, things went quickly. Soon the grain, vegetables and pork were all loaded onto the truck. Afterwards, everyone got on the truck and returned to the resettlement. Chapter 55. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Suiyang Resettlement Center. Big brother, I'm back. Ma Yukai shouted as he rushed into the inner courtyard. How is it? Mei Wenhua asked anxiously. Big brother, it's terrible. Hundreds of zombies inside are all dead. All dead. Ma Yukai said with fear and grief. Then what about Nanner? Mei Wenhua looked on expectantly. Young master, he's also dead, Ma Yukai replied. How could this happen? How could this happen? Hearing Ma Yukai's answer, Mei Wenhua instantly lost strength and sat down on the chair, saying sadly. Big brother, it must be those two people. We must avenge young master. Ma Yukai began to stir up trouble. Did you actually see them walk into our shop? Mei Wenhua asked weakly, seeking confirmation. Although I didn't see it, who else could it be besides them? Ma Yukai argued. Use your pig brain. Hundreds of zombies, just the two of them. Mei Wenhua scolded angrily. Big brother, I have another discovery, Ma Yukai said awkwardly, quickly adding. What discovery? The zombies' heads are all rotten, they should have been shot by guns, Ma Yukai said. He had never seen what a head shot by a gun looked like, but that didn't affect his deduction. Guns. Mei Wenhua was frightened. Guns were not something everyone had, so he quickly asked. Did you get spotted? No, absolutely not. From beginning to end, we didn't even see a single person, so we definitely wouldn't have been spotted, Ma Yukai shook his head. Mei Wenhua was a little scared, afraid that it was done by people in the army. Because only they had guns. If he was found out to be tampering and raising zombies, then the trouble would be really big. He had to be careful now and not reveal any clues. Okay. That's good. Don't investigate this matter for now, and don't mention it to anyone outside, Mei Wenhua instructed. Okay, big brother. What about those two people? Ma Yukai asked. You don't need to worry about this matter, go back first. Mei Wenhua said. Okay, big brother. Then I'll leave first. King Ai, arrange for those two people to leave as soon as possible, Mei Wenhua said to the young woman. Okay, Manager Mei. After the young woman left, Mei Wenhua cried bitterly. Worthless. All worthless. My son. My poor son. Commander, the central hall has been upgraded. Good, start building the research lab. Dongfang Chen said. Yes, Commander. Brother, can you tell me now? Luo asked as they walked down the road. Do you know why we were locked in the supermarket yesterday? Shen Vengong asked. Someone must have been trying to set us up. If I find out who it is, I will never let them go. Luo clenched her small fist and said fiercely. It was the other three people who went to Mizhu City with us, Shen Vengong said calmly. What? It's them? How is that possible? Didn't they go to the west? Could it be? Luo didn't dare to think further. That's right, they didn't go. Instead, they went ahead to ambush us, waiting for us to walk into the trap, Shen Vengong said. No way. Brother. Let's go back and reason with them. Luo was indignant and turned to go back. Don't go. We can't beat them yet. And from their conversation, I vaguely heard that the level 2 zombie was Mei Wenhua's son. Do you think he will treat us kindly after he knows that we killed his son? Shen Vengong stopped her. Humph. These people are so hateful. They actually trick people into feeding zombies, they're not human at all. Luo stomped her feet angrily. Alright, let's go. Let's find a place to settle down first. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Milan Resettlement Center. Boss Niu, welcome back. Mayor Gong heard that Boss Niu had brought back a truckload of grain and hurried over to greet him. Mayor Gong, you even came to greet me in person. Niu Xingwang quickly stepped forward to shake hands. You are a great contributor to our Milan, so I must personally welcome you. Mayor Gong said flatteringly. Mayor Gong, you're too kind. I'm just an ordinary businessman, I don't deserve to be called a great contributor, Niu Xingwang waved his hand. You deserve it, you deserve it. Mayor Gong said affirmatively. Mayor Gong, besides flour, I also saw a lot of fresh vegetables. At this time, Secretary Lu ran over in a hurry and said. Really? Mayor Gong asked in surprise. Really? Cabbage. I saw it being unloaded from the truck, basket after basket, all fresh cabbage. Secretary Lu said excitedly, spitting as he spoke. Boss Niu. You really have amazing connections. You can still get vegetables these days. Mayor Gong asked in surprise. Mayor Gong, I'm sorry. I didn't tell you in advance. This time, in addition to bringing 10,000 caddies of flour, I also brought 10,000 caddies of potatoes and cabbage, and also 2 live pigs, Niu Xinguang said, seemingly apologizing, but actually showing off. Wow! There are even pigs. Boss Niu, are these pigs okay? Mayor Gong asked quietly. Don't worry, they're fine. If Mayor Gong is worried, you can send someone to test them, Niu Xinguang guaranteed. Then there's no need. Since Boss Niu says there's no problem, then naturally there's no problem. Next, how do you plan to handle these supplies, Boss Niu? Mayor Gong said. Chapter 56. Mayor Gong, money is worthless these days. There's no point in me selling these goods. After all, the common people don't have anything I'm interested in, Boss Niu said, hitting the nail on the head. So, what are you suggesting? Mayor Gong was waiting for this. I want Mayor Gong to grant our Chamber of Commerce a special permit, Niu Xinguang said. What permit? A gun permit, Niu Xinguang said. What? Mayor Gong exploded. Was this Boss Niu trying to rebel? He wanted a gun permit? Asking for people or land would be fine, but guns? Mayor Gong, don't get excited, hear me out. Aren't we in a special period, dealing with things in a special way? Think about it, the common people don't have weapons, how can they possibly defeat the zombies? If things continue like this, the resettlement camp will be finished sooner or later. Rules are dead, people are alive, right? Don't you think so? Niu Xinguang said quietly. This idea of yours is too bold, I can't make the decision. How about this, I'll write a report and give feedback to the higher-ups. We can discuss it again when we have the results, what do you think? Mayor Gong asked. All right. Then I'll wait for Mayor Gong's news. But, you need to be quick, these vegetables won't be fresh if they're left for too long, Niu Xinguang reminded him. Definitely, definitely, Mayor Gong said, and hurried away. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Suiyang Resettlement Camp. Late at night. Divine Envoy. I have failed the Divine Envoy. Nanner, he, died. Mei Wenhua knelt on the ground and cried. Standing before him was a person wearing a deep red cloak, with a snow-white mask on their face. Mei Shanfeng, I already know about this matter. Such a big oversight, you are to blame, the person called Divine Envoy said. Divine Envoy, I know my mistake. Please punish me, Divine Envoy. Mei Wenhua knelt down, his nose almost touching the floor. Get up. After all, your son has died too, so I'll temporarily write it down this time. If there are any more mistakes next time, the 2 crimes will be punished together, the Divine Envoy said. Thank you, Divine Envoy. Mei Wenhua kowtowed again, then stood up. This is this month's holy gift, take it. The Divine Envoy handed over a pill. Thank you, Holy Envoy. Thank you, Divine Envoy. Mei Wenhua excitedly took the pill and swallowed it in one gulp. I heard that a new resettlement camp has been established in Milan town, is that true? The Divine Envoy asked. Yes, Divine Envoy, Mei Wenhua replied. Have you arranged for messengers to go there? Divine Envoy, not yet. The people of Milan town just moved here from Binjiang a day or 2 ago, and they are not locals of Mizhu, Mei Wenhua replied. Develop messengers as soon as possible. I hope that the next time I come, you can give me a satisfactory answer. After the Divine Envoy finished speaking, they disappeared into the darkness. Respectfully seeing off the Divine Envoy. Mei Wenhua lowered his head and saluted, extremely respectful. Yuzhou Province, Mizhu City, Milan Resettlement Camp. Secretary Lu, why are you here? Niu Xinguang saw Secretary Lu coming and hurried to greet him. Is everything packed up? Secretary Lu looked around. There's nothing to pack, just roughly arranged. Is there something wrong, Secretary Lu? Niu Xingwang asked. Mayor Gong wants you to go over there. We can't use the phone now, so I can only come and tell you, Secretary Lu said. Now? Yes, now. All right, let's go. Soon, the two arrived at Mayor Gong's office. Mayor Gong, you were looking for me. Niu Xingwang walked into the office and asked. Xiao Lu, go out and close the door, Mayor Gong said. Secretary Lu nodded, closed the door, and went out. Boss Niu, I reported the matter you mentioned earlier to the higher-ups. The general idea from above is that although they are now encouraging organizations to spontaneously form defense forces, it is not good to set a precedent for distributing guns, Mayor Gong said. Mayor Gong may have misunderstood. I mean, as long as you allow gun ownership, I'll solve the gun problem myself, Niu Xingwang explained. You can still get guns? If that's the case, it's relatively easier to handle. However, such a big thing, just relying on these 10,000 caddies of grain and vegetables, I'm afraid it's not enough weight to make a difference. Mayor Gong said. Okay, he's starting to talk conditions. That means there's room for negotiation. Of course, this little bit of grain doesn't need guns to protect it. To be honest with Mayor Gong, what really needs protection is this. Niu Xingwang took out an antigen test from his pocket. This is? Mayor Gong asked. This is an antigen test. SPDV1 type neurotropic virus antigen serum injection, abbreviated as antigen serum, Boss Niu said clearly, word by word. What? Mayor Gong stood up unexpectedly. Anyone who hears about antigen serum for the first time will react this way. Boss Niu didn't speak, just quietly admiring Mayor Gong's expression. This feeling, wonderful. Boss Niu, you're not joking with me, are you? Mayor Gong asked again. Fun, DED, if, fa, LSE. Niu Xingwang continued to act cool. Wait, let me calm down. Mayor Gong paced back and forth in the office, his face flushed. He once suspected that he was dreaming. Niu Xingwang was so happy. Go ahead and show off. Can't pretend anymore, right? That's the effect I wanted. Chapter 57. Boss Niu, you can't fake something like this. Mayor Gong asked again to confirm. I told you, it's genuine. Niu Xingwang replied calmly. How many do you have on hand? Mayor Gong asked. Niu Xingwang held up 2 fingers. 2 doses. Mayor Gong asked. Niu Xingwang nodded. These were the leftovers from the daytime. 43 people, 43 injections, leaving 2 doses. Boss Niu, name your conditions, Mayor Gong said. I said it before, a firearms permit. Without protective forces, this thing isn't safe, Niu Xingwang said without holding back. This was the moment for serious bargaining. I'll approve it. So, now? Mayor Gong inquired. In fact, the higher-ups had already issued a document stating that each settlement had complete authority to decide on the self-organization of civilian protective forces, without needing to report or apply. Mayor Gong simply wanted to use this opportunity to get Niu Xingwang to transport more food. Mayor Gong, this dose is for you, Niu Xingwang handed over the antigen. Mayor Gong tremblingly accepted it, as if receiving a priceless treasure. Mayor Gong, get it done now. It's not safe to keep it on hand, Niu Xingwang reminded him. Mayor Gong hesitated. He wasn't comfortable relying solely on Niu Xingwang's word. If Mayor Gong is worried, you can call Cao Yinghua to have it tested. It's easy to find out if there are antibodies in his body, Niu Xingwang said. Cao Yinghua got it. Mayor Gong asked in surprise. That's right. The 43 people in the field team all got it during the day. Mayor Gong, please understand, the guys are running around outside, I have to worry about their safety, right? Niu Xingwang said pretentiously. The corners of Mayor Gong's mouth twitched violently. This thing is so scarce, and you just gave it away? And used over 40 doses at once. Good heavens, inhumanely lavish. Boss Niu, aren't you afraid of danger, revealing such an important secret? Mayor Gong asked. The people in the field team don't know what I injected them with. The only person who knows about this is you, Mayor Gong. Mayor Gong surely understands that everything is the same, what you hold in your hand is a treasure, what you throw away is garbage. Wouldn't you agree, Mayor Gong? Niu Xingwang asked with a smile. Boss Niu truly has extraordinary courage and insight, I admire you. Mayor Gong complimented. Niu Xingguang's little hint made it clear to him. If this antigen was real, then holding it in his hand meant infinite resources and opportunities. If it leaked out, not only would he needlessly attract trouble, but he wouldn't gain anything. They were both smart men and didn't need to be so explicit. All right, Mayor Gong. It's getting late, so I won't disturb you any longer. Next, I'll be waiting for your permit, Niu Xingguang said, taking his leave. Boss Niu, take care, Mayor Gong replied politely. The next morning, Mayor Gong had someone call Cao Yinghua over. Report. Enter. Mayor Gong, you were looking for me. Cao Yinghua asked. Yinghua, come, sit, Mayor Gong said amiably. Yes. Yinghua, are you settling in well at the Huitong Chamber of Commerce? Mayor Gong asked. It's all right. Have you discovered anything unusual? Mayor Gong asked. Mayor Gong, Cao Yinghua hesitated to reveal anything. Niu Xingguang had said that if nothing happened to his warehouse within a month, then everyone would be fine. After returning, everyone had privately discussed that Niu Xingguang's implication was probably that if anything happened to the warehouse, everyone would be done for. He could not consider for himself, but he had to consider for so many others. Seeing Cao Yinghua's reaction, Mayor Gong knew that this spy had become compromised. Yinghua, you can't be muddle-headed on matters of principle. Mayor Gong pointed out. Mayor Gong, I'm sorry. Yesterday, Boss Niu gave us some kind of injection without telling us what it was, saying that if nothing happened to his warehouse, everyone would be fine. So, if I reveal information to you, it might harm everyone, Cao Yinghua explained. Oh, you're talking about that. It's all right. Boss Niu already told me about it yesterday. Everyone can rest assured, nothing will happen, Mayor Gong reassured him. Really? Then I'm relieved, Cao Yinghua said, but still frowned. I called you here today also for this matter. Although Boss Niu said it's nothing, I still have to consider everyone's safety. You come with me to the medical area now, and I'll have someone give you a checkup, Mayor Gong said. Thank you, Mayor Gong. Cao Yinghua said, standing up. All right, no need to be so polite here. Let's go then. 1 hour later. In a private office in the medical area. Mayor Gong, the results are out, negative, a doctor walked over and said. Does negative mean there's immunity or not? Mayor Gong didn't understand this. Yes. The doctor said. Good. That's great. Mayor Gong replied excitedly. Who was that just now? The doctor asked. Director Shui, that was an asymptomatic carrier, Mayor Gong made up a lie. Another asymptomatic case. Director Shui muttered in surprise. Oh? Director Shui, have you seen other asymptomatic carriers before? Mayor Gong asked curiously. Yes, in August, at an underground base in Binzhou, Director Shui said. Oh? Is that so? All right then, Director Shui, you can get back to work, Mayor Gong said, not understanding the implication. After Director Shui left, he also hurriedly left the medical area, surrounded by several doctors. Chapter 58. Yinghua, I've reviewed the results, and there's really nothing to worry about. Let everyone focus on their work, Mayor Gong said to Cao Yinghua after coming out. Thank you, Mayor Gong, Cao Yinghua replied again. All right, go get busy. Cao Yinghua gave a military salute and then returned to the Huitong Chamber of Commerce. Not long after, Secretary Lu arrived. Secretary Lu, welcome, welcome. Niu Xingguang said with a smile. Boss Niu, I'm here to deliver a document to you. Honestly, I've been a secretary for so many years, and this is the first time I've seen something like this. Boss Niu, you're impressive. As he spoke, Secretary Lu took out a document from his briefcase. Hey! Look at what you're saying. This is all thanks to our wise and unconventional Mayor Gong. Wouldn't you agree? Niu Xingguang flattered him. Secretary Lu didn't respond but instead asked. So, about the grain. Niu Xingguang carefully examined the firearm permit in his hand, along with the bright red seal in the lower right corner. After confirming it was correct, he was overjoyed. Secretary Lu, I'll have someone take it to the headquarters immediately. Look, the people are waiting for rice to cook, and these people are still dragging their feet. Cao Yinghua! Cao Yinghua! Where are you? Come over here quickly. Niu Xingwang immediately got to work, arranging for the moving of supplies. All right. Boss Niu, I won't disturb you any further, Secretary Lu said before turning to leave. Life is unpredictable. Not long ago, Boss Niu was a rat everyone wanted to beat, but in just half a month, he turned things around. He even has his own armed force with guns, Secretary Lu thought with emotion. 10,000 caddies of grain is just a drop in the bucket for the hundreds of thousands of people in Milan town. But it represents more than just a full meal, it represents hope. When they saw the grain, they saw something to look forward to. Sichuan Province, Yunde City, Anning County. In a mountain village. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Everyone, be quick about it. A scarred man shouted. 30 to 40 people ran back and forth, searching for things in various houses and among the bodies on the ground. Chirp. A subtle sound rang out, and a beam of blue light flashed by. A man suddenly froze and fell straight down. Immediately following, there was another chirp sound, and another man fell. The scarred man realized something was wrong and shouted. Take cover! Take cover! Someone's in the woods! Everyone began to run around, seeking cover and hiding. Chirp! A man who had just poked his head out was instantly shot in the head. Damn it! Who is it, sneaking around? Show yourself! The scarred man shouted from behind a rock. There was no response. Everyone, hide well and don't show your faces, the scarred man continued to shout. For a moment, the two sides were at a standstill. The scarred man was very afraid. It was clear that the other side was using guns. Then, it was very likely that they were people from the army. Ah! A man suddenly shouted. Chirp! Immediately following the sound, the man who had just shouted was killed. Ah! Again, a shout. Chirp! Another man fell. The scarred man was depressed. What was going on? Why were these people shouting like idiots? Did they have a death wish? It was the mechanical dog going around, secretly attacking the hidden people. The man and the dog cooperated perfectly, quickly eliminating more than a dozen people. Whoosh, 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 the roar of a car came from afar. Dozens of soldiers with live ammunition quickly got out of the car and ran inside. Everyone freeze! Drop your weapons and raise your hands! The soldiers ordered. Those hiding behind cover felt as though they were seeing saviors and hurriedly ran out, raising their hands and lying on the ground. They didn't have guns, and facing so many soldiers, they had no choice but to surrender. All the soldiers were wearing masks, or rather, they were all wearing combat uniforms. It was Rong Po leading the Zhanfeng assault team. My dear! You can't go. How will I and the children live? A woman ran in, climbed onto a corpse, and began to cry loudly. A 3-year-old boy was standing next to her. Madam, please accept our condolences. A female officer wearing a hood stepped forward to comfort her. This person was Yan Fang. The woman ignored her and continued to cry loudly on the corpse. The soldiers gathered all the people together, forming a circle. Yan Fang turned her head to look at the mountains in the forest. A person stood out from the forest, also wearing a hood, and it was unknown who it was. The soldiers hurriedly raised their guns upon seeing this, but Yan Fang stopped them. She faced the person on the mountain, took 2 steps forward, her right hand formed a fist, the fist facing inward, pressed against her chest. Upon seeing this, the man on the mountain also formed a fist with his right hand, the fist facing inward, pressed against his chest. The two looked at each other for 5 seconds, silently. Then the man turned and entered the forest, disappearing. Instructor Yan, who was that? A soldier walked over and asked. A friend, Yan Fang replied simply, without explanation. The soldier nodded and didn't ask further. Damn it! You sons of bitches! Are you even human? Hey? Killing people! I'll let you kill people! A soldier angrily cursed while kicking the scarred man squatting on the ground. This person was Rong Po. All right, stop hitting him. Look at you, do you even look like a soldier? You look like a bandit, Yan Fang stepped forward to stop him. Instructor Yan, we can't let them off so easily. Damn it, killing people. I I really want to kill them. Rongpo was about to curse but realized it was inappropriate and quickly changed his words. Take them back first. The decision on how to deal with them will be made by the higher-ups, Yan Fang said. The dozen or so survivors were put on the car, and then they turned around and left. The woman who had been crying was also taken away. Chapter 59. More than 10 days passed in a flash. December 31, 2054, New Year's Eve. Capital of China, Kyoto City, Parliament Building, Speaker's Office. Old Yan, sit down, the Speaker said. Okay. Old Yan, do you think it's time to summarize the emergency plan? The Speaker asked. I think it's about time. After so many days, we've basically considered all the points we need to consider, Yan Zhengping replied. The Speaker nodded. Old Yan, we're old comrades in arms. Tell me the truth. Do you know who leaked the information to us? The Speaker asked. Brother Bailey, I really don't know, Yan Zhengping denied. Really? The Speaker didn't believe him. Really? Yan Zhengping stared and replied confidently. All right, never mind, I asked. The Speaker leaned back in his chair and said indifferently. Brother Bailey, Kyoto has a large population, and it's not a long-term solution to keep it under martial law. After the new year, the temperature will gradually rise, and there may be trouble then. Yan Zhengping changed the subject. Old Yan, I've thought about this issue. But now is not the right time. If the parliament withdraws from Kyoto, it will greatly affect the confidence of various places in resisting the virus. Moreover, the Longtang base in the suburbs of Kyoto is already under construction and will be completed in about 2 months. Don't worry, nothing will happen, the Speaker said. Okay, Yan Zhengping said. Old Yan, you should go back and see your family during the 7-day New Year holiday. I won't keep you here. See you after the holiday, the Speaker said. Okay, see you after the holiday. Freedom Avenue, where the Parliament building is located, 21:30 in the evening. The car was driving slowly, and the Speaker sat in the back seat, closing his eyes to rest. Bang! The vehicle clearing the way in front made a loud noise and flew out of the lane. Squeal! The vehicles behind quickly braked. Bang! Another car was knocked away. What's going on? The Speaker was awakened and asked. Speaker, we're under attack, please sit tight. The driver said, turning the steering wheel and flooring the accelerator, quickly driving forward. Xiao Wang, drive to the military headquarters. The Speaker ordered. Okay, Speaker. Xiao Wang replied, but his tone was a little strange. You're not Xiao Wang. Speaker Bailey Ji felt uneasy. But before he could get up, he felt a blur before his eyes and passed out. 2 hours later, the car drove back to the military headquarters. At this time, the military headquarters was in chaos. Due to the tight power supply, traffic lights and civilian surveillance cameras on the road had long been shut down. The military headquarters security system did not cover the entire Kyoto, but was only deployed in a few key security locations. Therefore, a large number of people could only be sent out to conduct a carpet search. The commander is back. A soldier came in to report. In the Central Military Region, everyone addressed Bailey Ji by his title of Commander of the Central Military Region, and did not call him Speaker. This was also an unwritten rule. What? Where? An officer shouted. He's already entered the military district and is almost at the headquarters, the soldier replied. Good. That's good. Let's go out and greet him, the officer said and ran out. Soon, the car stopped in front of the headquarters building. All the waiting officers and soldiers stood at attention and saluted. The driver got out of the car, opened the rear door, and Bailey Ji stepped out of the car. Commander, are you all right? The officer stepped forward and hurriedly asked. I'm fine, everyone has worked hard, go back and rest, Bailey Ji said and walked into the building. The officers and soldiers no longer watched and went back to their respective posts. Inside an interrogation room, Xiao Wang sat on the interrogation chair. Wang Yang, you must explain clearly, word for word, where the car went during those 2 hours, the interrogating officer said, his tone not very stern, but more persuasive. Yes. After discovering the attack, I was worried about being surrounded, so I quickly left the convoy and continued forward along Freedom Avenue. The Speaker asked me to drive directly back to the military headquarters, so I turned south when I reached Linjing Street. But before I could go far, 2 cars drove out from both sides of the road, driving against the traffic towards me. I could only make a decisive decision and turn the car into Li Family Alley. In this way, I weaved around in the city before finally shaking them off and driving the car back. As the driver Wang Yang described the scene at the time, the interrogator in charge of recording was quickly taking notes. Did you notice the license plate numbers of the other vehicles? No. The speed was too fast, I didn't dare to be distracted. Since the other party was prepared, and it sounds like they were planning to force you to take certain routes, how were you still able to break out of their encirclement smoothly? The interrogator asked. I think they shouldn't be locals of Kyoto, they are not familiar with the routes, Wang Yang thought for a moment and replied. Okay, that's all for today's interrogation, you can go back now. We will verify all the situations you mentioned one by one, I hope you don't hide anything. I wouldn't dare. Also, during this period, your work will be temporarily suspended, and someone else will replace you. Before the matter is clarified, I hope you can stay at home all the time, do not go out, and do not contact anyone. To avoid complicating the issue, I hope you understand and cooperate. Okay, I understand. Chapter 60. Afterward, the guard company split up and conducted a thorough investigation based on the route mentioned by the driver, Wang Yang, analyzing the tire tracks left at the scene, which basically matched his description. Company commander, we've checked everything, the situation is confirmed, a soldier reported upon entering. The company commander nodded, his brow furrowed, and remained silent. Although the results made the situation clear, he had a nagging feeling that things weren't that simple. Such an attack was clearly premeditated, with even the commander's itinerary known. It shouldn't have ended so anticlimactically. Has the vehicle been inspected? The guard company commander asked. It's been checked, apart from some bumps and scrapes, there are no other issues, the soldier replied. Place Wang Yang under 24-hour secret surveillance, the company commander ordered. Yes. The soldier said before retreating. Have any of the attackers been captured? The company commander asked another soldier beside him. They all got away. They're incredibly skilled and possess immense strength, impervious to blades and bullets. They don't seem like normal people, the soldier said, frustrated. The company commander was aware of this. Those individuals could hurl a car with their bare hands, and bullets had no effect on them, it was very strange. This attack was bizarre in every aspect, beyond their comprehension. Therefore, the matter was submitted to the Military Affairs Department. January 1, 2055 AD, morning. Kyoto, Military Affairs Department. Director Liu, based on the materials, it seems like these people are mutants. Director Liu Feiying, a member of the council, is the current director of the Military Affairs Department. Mutants were something they had only recently discovered. After the virus outbreak, the Military Affairs Department established a special secret team, drawing in top experts from related fields in the Cultural Affairs Department and the Health Department, to conduct specialized research on various topics such as the virus's origin, characteristics, antigens, and antibodies, whether it was a biochemical weapon attack by hostile forces, and the study of zombie characteristics. Not long ago, asymptomatic carrier number 017 in the laboratory isolation zone suddenly went berserk during a routine test. Fortunately, he remained conscious and was quickly brought under control. Immediately afterward, the researchers conducted in-depth testing on carrier 017, but all indicators such as blood, respiration, heartbeat, and organs were perfectly normal. The leader of the secret team had a sudden idea and requested the transfer of 12 Special Forces soldiers to conduct multiple rounds of one-on-one PK experiments with carrier 017. The results of the first experiment were not ideal. 017 was just an ordinary 28-year-old citizen with no combat training, so he was easily defeated each time. The only strange thing was that 017's stamina was unimaginable, especially resistant to beatings. The results of the second experiment were completely different. 017 possessed strong learning abilities, quickly mastering basic combat skills, leading to the defeat of all 12 Special Forces soldiers in one-on-one situations. These experimental results greatly exceeded the team leader's expectations. Subsequently, after obtaining permission, they conducted multiple rounds of one-on-many combat experiments. The experimental results were encouraging. 017 grew rapidly, his strength, speed, and explosiveness all increasing linearly. Soon, he could easily prevail against the combined attacks of 12 Special Forces soldiers. They wondered if every asymptomatic carrier would develop such abilities. So, they conducted similar experiments on several other asymptomatic carriers. Unfortunately, not every asymptomatic carrier possessed such abilities. To make it easier to distinguish, they gave these carriers with special abilities a new name, mutants. Faced with these experimental results, the high-level officials of the Military Affairs Department attached great importance to them and demanded that specialized research be conducted on mutants. The investigation data submitted by the Central Military District last night showed that several attackers could hurl cars with their bare hands, which made him suspect that the attackers might be mutants. If they are mutants, then this problem is thorny. Who could gather so many mutants in such a short period? Director Liu frowned as he pondered. Then what should we do now? The secretary next to him asked. Let's go, to the Central Military District, Director Liu said, quickly heading out. Kyoto, Central Military District Headquarters. Chairman, the attackers yesterday may have been mutants, Director Liu reported. I can see that, the chairman replied calmly. Chairman, are you all right? Director Liu sensed that the chairman's tone was off. I'm fine. Are there any suspects? The chairman asked, straightening his posture. Not yet. Since the other party has the ability to gather so many mutants, they must have a significant background. It's very likely a foreign force, Director Liu voiced his speculation. Heh, is that so? Shipping and waterway connections with foreign countries have been suspended. How could anyone sneak in? You don't need to investigate this line for now. Let's discuss it at the meeting after New Year's Day. Your primary task is still the several projects you have in hand. I hope you can quickly conduct comprehensive research on mutants and figure out the mutation mechanism. Now it seems that the combat power of mutants cannot be underestimated. Mutants, mutants. The chairman thought for a moment and continued, like this, send some people to all the resettlement centers across the country to conscript all asymptomatic carriers. Screen out all the mutants and establish a special task force called Dark Knight. Be quick, we are already one step behind. Yes. Director Liu said excitedly.